Part of growing up in Texas is playing football. And perhaps the greatest thrill a football player can have is winning the Texas High School State Championship. This little part of the world we live in has a bit of grandeur to it. Playing for your school and representing your community has a unique pride that only a Texan would understand. As the players strap on their helmets and buckle up, some will soon realize this dream. I'm Ken Hall, the Sugarland Express. The Texas High School Football Championships are coming up next.
We welcome you to AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The UIL's 3A Division II State High School Football Championship of Texas, presented by State Farm. This afternoon, the 3A Division II state title sees the Argyle Eagles from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex taking on the Fairfield Eagles. Both teams a perfect 15-0 going into this afternoon's 3A Division II state title matchup. Hi again, everybody. I'm Craig Way. Happy to be joined by the coach, Brad McCoy, as we bring you the 3A Division II state championship. Saw the all 3A Division I All East Texas matchup go to Carthage in the Battle of the Bulldogs. This is a battle of the Eagles, two teams that can move the ball up and down the field.
They really can. Very explosive, different kinds of attacks, but boy, we're going to see some great football.
Well, started off with Argyle, and they have several different weapons. Among those, the guy into whose hands they like to get the football in space, that would be Ian Sadler.
You know, Ian Sadler is one of the most versatile backs that you're ever going to meet. He'll throw it, run it, catch it, whatever. Wherever they need Ian, he's going to be there for them.
He's had some eye-popping numbers, whether it be carrying the football or just getting the ball in his hands and letting him take it downfield. You see the receiving yards, the rushing yards, 32 touchdowns, whether it be on the ground or through the air. But Fairfield likes to keep its attack ground-based, and that means Larry Rose and the big load he carries.
Larry Rose, you better be ready to tackle him. Over 2,000 yards this year already, and he is the bulk of their team. You're going to get a big dose of him tonight.
Larry Rose, over 2,700 yards, and that ground attack for Fairfield is carrying them to their first ever appearance in the state football championship. It's the third trip to the finals for the Argyle Eagles. They take on the Fairfield Eagles with the kickoff of 3A Division II state football championship coming up right here on Fox Sports Southwest.
My name's
State by DQ, the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. DQ just tastes better. By your Texas Ford dealers, enjoy year-end savings during the Dream Big sales event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Wrangler Premium Performance Advanced Comfort Jeans, available at Cavenders and Cavenders.com. Greg Way and Brad McCoy with you upstairs in the broadcast booth. Third member of our telecast team down on the field is Neil Beasley. Neil?
Hey, thanks so much, Craig. Yeah, all the talk really seems to be about offense with both of these teams, Argyle and Fairfield, and rightfully so. They're athletes up and down the field on offense. But both these coaches, and they've said it, are old school. They love the old school. They like getting dirty. They love having a little bit of blood trickling off their elbow. And they both say that the winner tonight is going to be the team that controls the line of scrimmage, offensive line, defensive line, letting their superstars run and containing those other guys' superstars. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right, thanks, Neil. I don't think there's any question about that. And for both Argyle and Fairfield, that's what they want. And Todd Rogers has seen his team be able to move the ball on the ground, but they can throw it as well.
They can. You know, Todd says he's old school, and he really is. But, you know, he understands some of the different nuances of the offense, and I can promise you he'll be ready to open it up tonight.
And John Bachtel is the head coach of the Fairfield Eagles. And John, from a good coaching tree, is Dad Kent on his coaching staff and did a great job over the years in many different places, Midway in the Waco area among those. And he said it's nice being around home. He said, in fact, having his dad at home means he gets to go and have his mom's chicken fried steak from time to time.
Exactly. Man, what an incredible privilege to have your dad on the sidelines with him. My dad coached forever, and we never got to coach together, but just to have that, I bet this is a really special night. Argyle
is the visiting team. Fairfield, you see in the maroon with the yellow, and the Fairfield Eagles won the toss and have elected to receive the football. And Ian Sadler, senior, committed to Texas Tech University. We'll see his Argyle teammates go out on defense first. So Argyle trying for its first state title, as is Fairfield. Now, this is the third time in the state title round for Argyle. They've had 2 close calls, including 2 years ago. Close call and a loss to Wimberley in the 3A Division II title matchup. And for Fairfield, it's the first ever trip to the championship round as Bryson Gates is back deep to receiving. And we're also going to tell you about this very, very talented kicker, the Argyle Eagles, Cole Hedlund, who has established national kicking records along the way, Brad, for points scored and field goals. And this season, he's a perfect 96 for 96 on extra points, 23 out of 30 in field goals, including a 57-yarder.
Yeah, amazing kid. You just don't see kids like that in high school very often. I even noticed this week in Sports Illustrated, he's among the faces in the crowd in the back of the book. So he's done a great job and has a great future kicking for somebody else after he leaves Argyle.
So Cole Hedlund to kick it off. And we're ready to go. 3A Division II State Football Championship of Texas. Hedlund's kick, and this one, no mystery about it. He'll go out of the end zone. He's got that type of leg power.
What a weapon. What a weapon.
Well, for Fairfield, among their weapons is their senior quarterback, Jacob Gallegos. Gallegos has thrown for over 1,900 yards and also has carried it for over 400 yards. Has scored 10 rushing touchdowns. But as we mentioned, Larry Rose is the heavy-duty weapon for the Fairfield Eagles. And on first down, the first play is to Rose, but the Argyle Eagle defense ready for it, and they stop him, perhaps even for a loss of a yard, as Micah Capra, senior defensive end, makes the tackle.
So one of the things you're going to see tonight, Craig, out of Argyle is something you don't see out of a lot of high school teams. They're going to match up, man up with you, bump and run the whole night with a free safety that can control the run. So we're going to see how the speed matchup is. On
second down, it's a zone read keeper for Gallegos, and he's able to put it back over the 25, maybe near the 26, but nothing more than that. David Bearden, Taylor Sweat on the tackles. Look at the forward starting lineup for the Fairfield Eagles. Colton Gaston, Dylan Kirkpatrick, Andrew Grant, Luke Rachel, and Jeremiah Simpson. On the offensive front, Larry Rose in the backfield. We told you about him. Alex Ward, Cam Hicks, Colby Minzy, and Chris Leidy, the receivers. So now on third down, third and long for Fairfield. And Gallegos to go to the air for the first time. Downfield and picked off. Intercepted by Drew Estrada, the sophomore free safety. And right away a turnover, hands the football to Argyle in great field position.
It really does. This secondary does a great job playing the ball. You know, again, you're looking at man-to-man stuff, and they're just not going to give you any room. They get out there and practice that all the time. So you know, it's one of the questions that we asked Todd this week. Is this something you're committed to all the time? And he said, yeah, we're committed to it every play. So I'm sure this is the first time Gallegos has seen some of that suppressed man like this. So he's going to have to get used to that.
Brandon Boyzik, senior quarterback, leads Argyle onto the field. You see he's thrown for 1,600 yards, only 4 interceptions this season. And we'll hand it on first down to Nick Ralston. Ralston, the junior, has rushed for over 1,700 yards, but upended after a gain of only a yard by Alex Ward. We look at the forward starting lineup on offense for the Argyle Eagles. Boyzik, of course, the quarterback. Matt Hyder, also Michael Castle, Hayden Wood, Matt Wagner, and Jet Monroe, the offensive front. Nick Ralston, the man who just carried the football there. We mentioned Sadler out there and the rest of those dangerous backs and receivers. It's his second down and 11. And going in motion. Well, this one's up the middle, and there is Sadler. Ian Sadler, his first touch, and takes it for 9 yards, just shy of the first down.
You better watch where he lines up. He'll line up at receiver, back, quarterback, but the ball's going to go through his hand about 40% of the time.
Took the direct snap. Third down, and a long yard needed for the first. And Sadler will line up again to take this snap. With a motion back as well. Sadler keeps it himself. There he goes, and he's got a first down. Does Ian Sadler to the 15-yard line, a pickup of 10 yards. Chance Carroll made the tackle for Fairfield.
You know, one little motion carried Fairfield defense a little bit away, but Sadler found just a little crease. And they're just trying to figure out how they're going to work this right now. Fairfield is not sure how they're going to deal with that.
First and 10 at the Fairfield 15 for Argyle. Trying to cash in the early turnover. This time, once more, it's Sadler. Trying to bounce it inside and is able to pick up a couple of yards to the 13. We'll take a look at the Fairfield Eagle defense. The lineup presented by Ford. Danny Cockrell, Josh Gallegos, and Dedrick Gardner, the down linemen. Bryson Gates, Jeremiah Simpson, Devin Eggins, and Alex Ward, the linebackers. And in the secondary for the Eagles, Charles Oliver, Chris Leidy, Chance Carroll, and Larry Rose, who plays on both sides of the football. Second down and 8 needed from the 13 as a toss to Sadler. Sadler outside to the end zone and a touchdown. Ian Sadler helps Argyle cash in the early Fairfield turnover.
Yeah, we're gonna see a steady dose of that tonight. Ian lines up in a lot of places. Little option run, and it's going to be close. I mean, it gets to that pylon. Of course, we got no instant replay, and they called it a touchdown, so it's going to be a touchdown. But as you can see, that foot was out of bounds before we got there.
It goes for the score of the ball at the pylon, but you saw the foot hit out of bounds. The touchdown stands, and here's the extra point by Cole Hedlund. Make it 97 out of 97 on the extra point. And it's Argyle that strikes first. Ian Sadler, the touchdown run. Argyle with an early 7-0 lead in the 3A Division II championship.
Welcome to Time Warner.
Argyle out to a 7-0 lead on Fairfield as they take advantage of the early Gallegos interception. So Argyle with its road to the championship. A by-district win over Crum. They beat Melissa. Gilmer, that big shootout with the East Texas Power, went the way of the Eagles, then rolling past Gladewater. And then, as you mentioned, you saw the win over Graham last week as Argyle, twice a runner-up from Denton County, and an easy bus trip down here to Arlington.
Home game.
Well, they played in this building before. In fact, 2 years ago, Todd Rogers' team lost a heartbreaker to Wimberley in the 3A Division II title round. Cole Hedlund will kick it off again. A touchback on the first one. And this one about 7 yards deep and almost bringing it out was Bryson Gates. And he decides to put down the knee and make it a touchback. So it'll come to the 25-yard line.
He was close.
So now Fairfield kind of has to shake off the early mistake and go back to doing what they do.
That's right. That's right. Find Larry Rose, and as they used to say, dance with the one that brought you.
Yep. So on first down, it is to Rose. And here goes Rose. Tripped up, nice open field grab to bring him down by Connor Wilson, senior cornerback, who's headed for Texas Tech. Let's look at that Argyle defense. As you see Connor Wilson, the future Texas Tech Red Raider, Micah Capra, Reagan Page, and David Bearden, the down linemen. Taylor Sweat, Connor Henricks, and Colton Katzen, the linebackers. Connor Wilson, Reese Thompson, Dalton Ledford, and Drew Estada leading that secondary around the corner. And again, another big run by Larry Rose. A first down for Fairfield as they take it to the 37-yard line before Dalton Ledford, the senior strong safety, can bring it down.
You know, that Rose is really deceptive. You know, he's got a lot of power behind. He's not real big, but he's got a lot of power and quickness. So he's out of the game right now for a little rest, but we're going to see a lot of him tonight.
Well, in the ball game right now is sophomore running back Dominic Brackens, who has rushed for over 600 yards. But this carry will go to Bryson Gates. Gates taking it upfield, and Gates can run. There's several guys on this Fairfield roster that can carry the football.
He really can, and Gates is huge. You know, when the size of him, he looks like a lineman up there. So they're going to have a load bringing him.
That's 9 yards there for Bryson Gates. And it's second down and a yard to go. As Gallegos checks with the sideline. Hand off this time. It's Rose, and he has enough for the first down. Nick Ralston, the tackle for Argyle.
I'm really impressed with the Ralston kid from Argyle. He's a running back, and he is a great runner and also plays a great linebacker. He just doesn't leave the field very much. That's one of the things that's exciting about this 3A football. You're going to see a lot of kids going both ways and playing all the time.
You bring up an interesting point we'll get to in a moment. On first down, here's Rose. bouncing forward near midfield. In fact, they'll give him the 50-yard line for a pickup of 2. In our conversation with Todd Rogers, I asked him, as it looks like you've changed a couple of things from a couple of years ago when we went to the finals. He said, yes, we've made a more concerted effort to get our real playmakers on the field more often, meaning a lot more two-way players than Argyle's had in the past.
Yeah, they really do, and you know, it's going to benefit. And this being the last game, you know, it was spoken so wisely a while ago by Blake, the quarterback, earlier. He said, you know, it was a goal ball game. If they need to run me tonight, and I'm going to run tonight. So it all comes down to the last one. They're going to pull out all the stops.
Jacob Gallegos running there and picks up a couple more to the 48-yard line of Argyle. Nick Ralston the tackle. We were talking about Blake Bogachuch, the quarterback for Carthage, who led the Carthage Bulldogs to the 3A Division I state title, a 34-23 win over the Kilgore Bulldogs. Had an all-Bulldog matchup for the 3A Division I crown, and it's all Eagles for 3A Division II. 3rd down and 5 for Fairfield's Eagles at the Argyle 48. Gallegos to the air, and pass dropped by Gates, trying to run the bubble screen inside as he's trying to turn up the field just to secure the ball.
Yeah, he had it set up great. They had a good tunnel, but took his eyes off the ball a little bit to look where he's going to run. And got to catch it first. They had a great play set up too.
So on 4th down, it's Gallegos who punts, and none other than Ian Sadler back deep to receive it.
I wouldn't punt to him.
And they don't. This is a knuckle ball that bounds down the center of the field. It might not have been by design not to punt to him, but it'll go to 27 yards, only a 21-yard punt. But Argyle will have the football when we come back. 7-0 Argyle over Fairfield. And right now, a special message from State Farm. Trail the Argyle Eagles in the 3A Division II state championship game. Fairfield, impressive road to the finals. Nobody even come close to them with wins over Diboll, Connolly High School, Hardin-Jefferson, Rockdale, and Sinton. And their first trip to state from down I-45 in Freestone County, so just over 100 miles, not that far for Fairfield. Reached the 3A Division II title round. First down, Boysick. And the ball is lost. Takes it hard at the top and goes down. That was a lick he took. Alex Ward also took a shot there in delivering the blow. Gain of a yard, and it's 2nd down and 9.
Fairfield's starting to figure it out a little bit. They're keeping an eye on where number 5 is. You know, Ralston's going to be a great runner tonight, too. They're going to have to really carry him. But that was a big lick, linebacker coming up and delivering that blow.
Sadler lines up in the slot as a receiver. Boysick. It's a throw, but pressure coming. Releases, caught. And it's at the 34-yard line by John Cucurello.
A lot of pressure that time. Quarterback did a great job. I think the pressure thought he'd already thrown it, so he kind of pulled off of him.
Brings up 3rd down and 3 for Argyle. Sadler will be up at the top of your picture. On 3rd down, it's a handoff, trying to kick his way through traffic is Connor Wilson, but Wilson unable to find anything downhill. It was all uphill. Stopped after almost no gain on the play by Devin Eggins, and it brings up 4th down, and Argyle will have to punt.
They will, and they're not used to that. But you know, Connor was trying to bounce that, couldn't find the hole. And I think, you know, using Ian out there on that side, he occupied a corner and a safety, so they didn't have that extra man coming down. But defensive line did a great job.
Going on to punt is Sadler. He handles the punting. Averaged over 34 yards per kick. And Chance Carroll back deep to receive it. And a bad snap over the head. Now let's see what Sadler can do with it. Hesitating. Can he get a kick away? He cannot. And Fairfield's going to have the football deep in Argyle territory. Dedrick Garner came up with the recovery. It's a loss of 23 yards on the bad snap.
Special teams going to be a big part of it. You know, center just really excited, and boy, he just airmails it. Sadler does a good job just to get back and get with it. You know, I know he's looking for an opportunity to punt the ball, but well, big break for Fairfield.
Fairfield with a chance to cash it in here. I'll have it at the Argyle 13. You know, Brad, some coaches might say, well, I wish McKidd, if he'd picked it up there, might have just taken it out of the back of the end zone for safety, give up the 2 points, and then try to play field position. That's a hard decision to make at the spur of the moment. It is. But they got a lot of pride in their defense. They really think they're fixing to bow up here. Here is Rose. Takes it forward for a couple. Connor Hendricks, middle linebacker on the tackle for Argyle.
You know, we've seen Salina in the state playoffs and state games several times, and you know, running that infamous 10-1 defense. And I think Argyle's taking a few lessons from them. They're going to have 10 guys within a yard or two of the line of scrimmage every time, so they're going to pressure them right now.
Second down. And Gallegos throwing for the end zone. Nice play made at the last moment by Dalton Lefford to bat the ball away from Chris Lighty, the intended receiver.
Nice throw by Gallegos. But again, he just, you know, you don't see much just press man in Division III football play after play. So that's a great play by Ledford. He stuck with it.
Third down and 9. And Gallegos from the shotgun. Swings out the tunnel screen and then bouncing forward, but unable to get any forward momentum is Alex Ward. Only a yard, in fact lost a yard, and it's 4th down as David Bearden made the tackle.
Shooting for that tunnel screen, just missed a couple of blocks. That lineman didn't get out there. 77 was a little slow getting to where he needed to be. Ty Crawford, but man, that's just a swarming defense by Argyle.
Eric Rodriguez Hayes on to try the field goal. Rodriguez Hayes is just a freshman. This is a 30-yard field goal try. The kick is good. So Fairfield able to get 3 points out of the bad punt snap for Argyle. And Fairfield on the board to trim the margin to 4. Crowd Goes Wild is the new weekday talk show with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists, where you can always expect the unexpected. Catch Crowd Goes Wild weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, Fox Sports 1. 7-3 the score after John Bachtel's team recovered and was able to take advantage of the bad snap on the Argyle punt. Argyle recovered enough defensively to hold Fairfield to 3 points.
They did. That was a great stand. You know, big turnover, you know, inside the 15-yard line, and to hold them to 3. That's a big deal for Argyle as they still hold the lead, and feeling good about it. Again, they're going to pressure them really well with some of this man-to-man defense they're going to play.
Albie Agnelli will kick it off for Fairfield. Sadler, one of the flanking returners. This one, however, will be taken and rolling around is Treadwell, and he'll hand it to Sadler. Sadler coming around, but excellent coverage by Fairfield to drop Ian Sadler at the 26-yard line, which is where Argyle begins this possession.
Good discipline there. Coach Bachtel's got his teams ready for you know, Argyle has been known to do a lot of play and flair, I guess you might say. They're going to add a lot of wrinkles to the way they play, and they're not afraid to take some chances. And I think Coach Bachtel's got his team ready and staying in lanes and playing pretty good assignment football.
Todd Rogers, by the way, trying to get his Argyle offense back in gear. Out of the shotgun, Sadler takes the snap, but he'll hand it on the speed sweep to Hunter Treadwell, and Treadwell slung to the turf after a gain of only 3 by Chris Lighty.
Again, we've seen multiple times today the fly sweep, sometimes for misdirection and sometimes giving the ball. So it's not going to stop now. Defenses are starting to fly to the football, though.
2nd down and 7. And Ian Sadler again will line up in the shotgun to take the snap. With the man in motion, it is Sadler keeping himself. And then hops over one tackler before being shoved out of bounds at the 36. Picks up 7 yards. Devin Eggins credit with the tackle. Watch the bunny hop here.
Oh, I'm telling you. I guess this is in vogue. You see a lot of runners starting to hurdle and jump and different things. You know, it's tough. Ian does a great job with a little stutter step early. He leans inside, gets the defense to commit, and gets outside, gets an extra 4 or 5 yards.
And enough to move the chains for a first down for Argyle. And some confusion now. I think Argyle's going to take a timeout.
Timeout. Argyle. Their first charge of the first half.
The Eagles wanted to make sure they were on the same page. Dalton Ledford had gone in as if he were going to take the snap and shift it over from the wide receiver position. This is the second game of the triple header on Friday. Earlier today, Carthage defeated Kilgore for the 3A Division I crown, 34-23, the 4th state championship in the past 6 seasons for Scott Surratt's team. Congratulations to Carthage. And coming up about 8 o'clock tonight, the 4A Division I title on the line. Another school from Denton County. Of course, Argyle in the southern reaches of Denton County, right smack in the middle of the county seat, the Geyer Wildcats of Denton, the defending state champions of 4A Division I, take on the unbeaten, perfect Brennan Bears of the Northside ISD in the San Antonio area around 8 o'clock. That's going to be the matchup of the rock-solid defense of Brennan against the very versatile, talented, and explosive Gerard Hurd and the Geyer Wildcat offense.
Right. Something's going to have to give on that one. it's a classic matchup. Something's going to have to give.
It's day 2 of the 3 days of state championship weekend. We had 4 state champions crowned yesterday, 2 in Conference A, 2 in Class 2A. And then tomorrow, one more 4A matchup in Division II, and then the 5As take the stage for the final 2 games. Out of the timeout, over the middle, that pass is caught. Oh, what a catch made by Sadler. Boysick threw it low. Sadler somehow hauled it in for 19 yards and a first down.
Great hands. Really a low ball. He had to go. I'm surprised he was able to get any yards after the catch, but he was really able to go down and get it and then come back up. Little quick post inside. Boysick threw it a little behind, but it's probably a good thing. If he throws a great pass there, that safety's in position.
It's at the 45-yard line of Fairfield. And now Boysick to throw again. Up the sideline of the man. Caught inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Guess who? Ian Sadler again. They'll mark him out, I believe, at the 7, but it'll be first down and goal for Argyle.
That's a great shot by Boysick that time. Brandon defeats the cornerback. Sadler defeats the cornerback, and he just drops it right in the hole where he needs to be. Safety didn't have time to get there. We're seeing Mr. Versatile at his best right now.
They've used him as receiver, as a running back, taking the direct snap at quarterback, punt returner, all here in the first quarter.
That's right. They're giving him a little break right now.
So he'll step out.
Probably going to steady Dawson Ralston here for a few minutes.
Was it with the toss to Ralston? Ralston to the goal line and across. Connor Wilson, excuse me on that. Connor Wilson takes it in. Ralston has been the steady guy, but there's Connor Wilson, which, by the way, is an example of Argyle's options that they have offensively, the different guys to whom they can turn for plays. In this case, it's the senior Connor Wilson.
Exactly. They got Ralston out there in the block. Connor does a great job. Connor really is a defensive specialist, but obviously put him in situations like this. He's a great runner, catch the ball, make a turn, and go score.
Cole Hedlund for the conversion. Takes that one through. And Argyle, 2 touchdowns and 3 possessions. Connor Wilson turning the corner to take it in.
Again, Ross is making good. Linemen have a great step. He just wasn't going to be denied. He broke a couple of tackles, did some great things. Headed for Texas Tech, they obviously see some greatness in what he does, hands and feet and a heart to play hard. So, I saw him make a play last week in the semifinal game on a punt that was rolling back and rolling deep, and he went back and got it from the defense and brought it back about 60 yards and almost scored. The kids were huddled up around it, fixing to down it. He just picked it up and went back 60. So he's very confident in his abilities.
Connor Wilson, of course, plays on both sides of the football, used quite often as a slot receiver, but he has carried it over 20 yards, or over 20 times this year for over 200 yards, and takes that one in from 7 yards out. Connor Wilson makes it a 14-3 lead, capping the Argyle Eagle drive. Now, clearly, There is a great deal of football left to be played, better than 3/4 worth of football. Fairfield, sure, the concern level rising about trying to establish that offense again. They had some momentum going before being stopped, and now looking to try to get it going again for John Backless.
Right. And again, they just have to figure out the Argyle defense. You just don't see it very often, the style that they play. You just don't see it. And so their kids are having to get used to where they are, where they're lined up, what they're doing. And if they'll just stay with it, you know, get back in a rhythm, get Rose back involved in the game, I think they're going to be okay. They just can't panic.
3 kickoffs, 3 touchbacks for Cole Headland.
It's such a weapon. You know, we saw it in the last game. They were scared of it, so they pooch kicked. So there was every possession was at the 30 or 40 yard line. To have a kid that can put it in the end zone every time, and you start your possessions at 25, it makes that offense, the percentages go way down for those drives.
From the 25, Jacob Gallegos will hand it to Larry Rose. Hops over the 25 to the 27. Gain of a couple. Hunter Stewart, senior defensive end, on the tackle for Argyle.
Tackle number 64, Hunter Stewart. Second and 8 from the 27.
Second and 8. Gallegos under some pressure and then cranks it up downfield. That is picked off. Yes. Guess who? Connor Wilson, who just scored the touchdown, comes over from his corner position and makes the interception. The second of this first quarter thrown by Jacob Gallegos.
It's going to be tough. You know, again, I keep going back to it, but young quarterbacks just don't see this. And he took a chance and threw it into that double coverage. You know, last week against Graham, Ben Davis, a good quarterback. Graham had a great year. Forced Graham into 5 turnovers last week. And so, you know, great hands there on Connor. Knocked the ball up and came down with it. Again, we saw his athleticism as a running back, and that's where he makes his living in the secondary.
And how about Dalton Ledford kind of deflected it a little bit, and then it was collected by Wilson as they bracketed there on first down. Here's the carry by Nick Ralston. Ralston all the way up to midfield. So he'll pick up 9 yards. Edward Garner made the tackle for Fairfield. So the ball right at the midfield stripe. Argyle on the move, facing second down and 1. See Ralston out there. Boysick out of the shotgun will hand it again to Ralston. He's popped pretty hard, but he has the first down in Fairfield territory on the final play of the first quarter. Well, Argyle has its game in gear early. A 14-3 lead at the end of the first quarter of the 3A Division II State Football Championship from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Second quarter coming up on Fox Sports Southwest. Second quarter of the UIL Class 3A Division II State High School Football Championship. The Argyle Eagles leading the Fairfield Eagles 14-3. Both teams in search of their first ever state football championship. Craig Way, Brad McCoy, Neil Beasley, and our Fox Sports Southwest crew with his first down and 10 for Argyle as they just turn around on the opposite side of midfield. The ball at the Fairfield 49. And Boysick to throw. Downfield and caught. Nice catch made by J.C. Chalk, sophomore tight end. There's so many targets.
Lots of weapons.
And weapons for these Argyle Eagles.
Again, little play fake, just a kind of a one-man route, post corner. Boysick put it right where it needed to be, and sophomore made a great catch. His first time. Right now, Fairfield's just got to come alive. They're still in a little shock being here for the first time.
Ball was at the 33-yard line. Brandon Boysick. A toss outside to Sadler. Trying to pick his way through traffic. Ian Sadler picks up only about a yard. Josh Gallegos makes the tackle. Job by Fairfield defensively here to seal it off.
Did. That senior linebacker, Alex Ward, really came in down low, got a big piece of it before the tackle. So they're starting to try to get a little more penetration. That's what it's going to take. Got to get a little pressure, a little penetration, especially when you can't let Ian get ahead of steam.
Second down and 9. Ralston this time. turning through the line and spinning his way. The junior running back, Nick Ralston. Devin Eggins made the tackle. And Ralston takes it down inside the 30 for a gain of 6.
Such a strong runner, 6 foot, 215, just a junior. He scored 31 touchdowns this year. And he's always falling forward, and he's a hard guy to bring down.
3rd down and 4 coming up for Argyle. Sadler lines up as the tailback now out of the shotgun. Boysick, a check with me look to the sidelines. And Todd Rogers, I think, is asking for a timeout. He'll get it right there.
Timeout. Argyle. Their second charge timeout.
So the timeout was called before the flag was thrown for the delay of game. So Argyle will face its decision coming up here. It's a 14-3 lead for the Argyle Eagles on the Fairfield Eagles here in Arlington. Argyle over Fairfield in the 3A Division II state championship. This is the middle game of a tripleheader tonight. The 4A Division I title matches the defending state champion from Denton Geyer against Northside Brennan of the San Antonio area. And Brennan's highly touted defense will have to deal with the highly touted Gerard Hurd.
Absolutely. Lots of running yards, lots of throwing yards. He's done a great job.
Defending state champion from Geyer against the Brennan Bears tonight at 8 here on Fox Southwest. On 3rd down out of the timeout. Pass to Ralston, couldn't hold it. And it brings up 4th down. Ralston, the intended receiver. And, you know, for a lot of schools, this is a difficult decision when you have 4th down and you're in plus territory. You're not inside the 20, not in the red zone, but you're, you know, inside the 30. This is not a tough decision at all for Todd Rogers because he has the best high school kicker in the state of Texas.
Absolutely. No, in fact, they love marching this guy out there.
Cole Hedlund is 23 out of 30 this year, including a 57-yarder. This is from 44 yards out, trying to extend the Argyle lead to 14 points. Obviously, plenty of leg, distance, and accuracy. There is a flag down. Now, Hedlund was hit.
They roughed him on top of that. Now the question, do you take the 3 points off the board and take a 1st down?
Well, I think Todd Rogers is asking, is this running into the kicker or the 15-yard variety here? And we'll hear from our referee from this Austin chapter, Clark Calvert.
Running into the kicker. Defense. That penalty is declined. The field goal is good.
Because it was only the 5-yard variety, Todd Rogers electing to keep the points on the scoreboard as Argyle is now up 14 points. Get another look at it.
Just really smooth. It reminds me a lot of Justin Tucker. Plays for the Ravens now. Just same body build, same swing, leg action. Just a solid kicker. And obviously, you don't want that kicker getting hit after he kicks.
Cole's dad, John Hedlund, former outstanding soccer player at North Texas, and also played professionally as well, indoors and outdoors. He's the coach of the North Texas women's soccer team, and in a revelation that makes me feel old, a guy that was in college with me at the same time when we were both at North Texas. But it's the kicking runs well in the family.
Oh, I'm telling you. I've got several coaches here in the house tonight that are coaching other teams across the state that I got into coaching and assistants for me. So when you start seeing that, and 6 or 7 head coaches around the state that you kind of brought in to the realms, and you kind of look at that, and you're not getting that old. What's the deal?
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it's a good point that you bring up the fact that obviously there are tens of thousands of fans here supporting the players, families, friends, relatives. But the high school coaches from across the state come to these championship games as well and want to see how their peers do and how it all ends, because you put so much into it. Speaking of putting into it, Hedlund with another touchback. Almost sailed through the goalpost. All of the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into coaching your respective high school football program, and so you want to see how it all turns out, don't you?
You do, and you cheer on those coaches that you know, your district opponents, so the people that you played against, you cheer those guys on. So, yeah, there's thousands of coaches from Texas that are here today just watching this. It's a great venue to see a lot of games, and you know, I'm certainly proud of the coaches that have been with me through the years, and there's a bunch of those guys here today.
It's at the 25-yard line on the touchback, so Fairfield operates here. The back shifting in motion is Bryson Gates, but the handoff goes to Larry Rose. Rose trying to turn it upfield and does. That's the strength of Larry Rose as he continues to just push his way upfield. He winds up picking up 8 yards before Drew Estrada can hold on with help from Dalton Fletcher.
Great run. He's bouncing and bouncing. It's obviously soft schedule, but you know, just great power right there. Gets 5, 6, 7 yards more just on total effort there. Great run from Larry Rose, and they've got to ride him right now.
2nd down and 2. And it is Rose.
They will.
Outside, inside. Rose a 1st down. Out to the 46. As he picks up another 13 yards. Like a Capra on the tackle.
Capra's a really impressive defensive player as well. He slides back and forth from nose to tackle. Number 55. He's going to make tackles all around the field. And that time 13 yards down the line, down the field. So he plays defensive tackle kind of like a linebacker.
It's at the 46-yard line of Fairfield. On the option, Gallegos to keep. Into Argyle territory for a gain of 6 yards. Capra and Reagan Page team up on the Argyle tackle.
There's your respect for Larry Rose. You know, the defense is really overloading to him, and Capra was able to keep the ball and get into that second. Gallegos, excuse me, able to keep the ball and get into that secondary. So Larry Rose having a big effect whether he's got his hands on the ball or not.
2nd down and 4 for Fairfield. Gallegos with Rose now out of the ball game. Turns, keeps himself. Here goes Jacob Gallegos. Bounces forward as a 1st down at the 35. A gain of 13 more yards before Reese Thompson could make the tackle.
Great job on the zone read. Got a little counter block inside. Gallegos does a good job getting back to the backside of the field, getting away from the pursuit. That's a heads-up play.
Now with the Argyle 35. It's Fairfield. Its most consistent march so far. Back to the ground. This time to Bryson Gates, who continues to squirt forward, and he picks up 4 the hard way before Colton Hendricks can make the tackle. We go down to the sidelines and check in with Neil Beasley.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you see this nice drive here, and if you notice a couple of these runs, the backs aren't even being touched until they're about 3, 4, 5 yards down the field. That is an all-senior offensive line, and they have got to do the job if they want Fairfield to go down and put some points on the board here.
That's what they've done a lot of this season. Here goes Rose. Rose will take it the rest of the way. 31 yards for the touchdown.
Man, he left a really good football player in his tracks right then. I tell you what, we've been calling Connor's name all night long, and Rose just put a stutter step on him. That's 2 great athletes in the hole. They're back in it.
And look at John Backle firing out, telling his guys, let's go with it. Look at Rose make this move.
Yeah, get in the middle, and you just see that he just froze Connor right there, and then the rest of it's just speed. So, you know, hats off to Coach Backle for sticking with it. You know, down early, 14-3, but he's not getting out of his game plan. So we got a ball game again.
Extra point kick is good by Eric Rodriguez-Hayes, and Fairfield very much alive and well thanks to the sturdy legs of the senior back, Larry Rose. And now a special message from your Texas Ford dealer. Fairfield with a touchdown on the board from Larry Rose, trimming the Argyle lead to 7. Hey, earlier State Farm gave 2 participants an opportunity to win up to $500 for their respective schools through the State Farm Kick to a Better State Challenge. First, Tyler Case of Argyle was able to put it through. Cam Adams of Fairfield had an opportunity, pulled it left. However, as a result, it's a chance to win up to $500 total in cash there. So $250 goes to Argyle High School. You can text UIL to 45384 for your chance to win $250 for you and for your school. State Farm is the proud presenting sponsor of the UIL State Championships. Well, what a response for Fairfield when the Eagles had to have one.
Absolutely. Big comeback. And once again, you know, you look at that, a team like this has never been to the state finals. You know, it was a little shock when you first get here. And so I think you're going to see a team keep coming back.
It's a shorter range kickoff, but fielded on a full gallop by Hunter Treadwell. He brings it upfield for Argyle, the senior safety. And it'll be excellent starting field position for Argyle's Eagles. as they'll operate from their own 38.
There again, you see that weapon of your kicker. You know, whether you're starting on the 25 or the 38, there's just a big difference there.
Sadler will go into the shotgun in the quarterback slot since Boysick will not be on the field for this first down play. So Ian Sadler to take the snap. And has Nick Ralston up front. A motion man and Sadler to keep himself. Across the 40 to the 41. Gain of 3, and Bryson Gates the tackle for Fairfield.
You know, if I'm Fairfield, I kind of like it if Ian's at the quarterback position. At least you know where he is. That's one thing that I feel like he's probably less dangerous there than he is in other spots.
A little bit easier to locate.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 7. And Boysick back in at quarterback. But the call goes to Sadler nevertheless. And Ian Sadler with a gain of 4 more yards to the 45. Devin Eggins, the tackle for Fairfield. Brings up 3rd down and 3 for Argyle.
You know, Fairfield's kind of catching up now. Their safeties are coming up and playing a little bit of the run, but they need to be really careful. You know, they've really helped out on the last couple of tackles. They don't need to commit to the run quite yet, because you know, that's still not exactly all that Argyle wants to do. So don't think they're just going to have a run on 3rd and 3.
Well, this time, Boysick on an option toss to Sadler, and he hurdles his way forward, flying through the air for 5 yards. Probably the last 3 airborne and a 1st down in midfield.
You know, you love to see a kid like that play. Just, you know, a lot of passion in the way he runs and gives up his body. And like I say, the last 3 yards are over the top and takes a big lick on the end of it. So you just love to see kids play hard like that.
At midfield, Argyle trying to march right back down the field after the Fairfield touchdown drive. Ralston's turn. Lowers the shoulder, but dropped right in the center of the big blue star by Alex Ward. That's quite the collision when you have Alex Ward crashing into Nick Ralston.
Yeah, that's 2 big-time players and with well put together bodies. Alex got the best of him that time.
We'll mark it at the 49 of Fairfield, the officials will. So it's 2nd down and 9. In motion, Torello looking to throw. Boysick incomplete as Ralston fell down, and it now brings up 3rd down.
Great pressure again. Alex Ward in on the play. He's kind of being omnipresent himself, but fights off a block, gets into the legs of Boysick, caused him to make an errant throw. So quarterbacks don't like that pressure much.
3rd down and 9 for Argyle. Sadler lines up behind Boysick. Boysick looking to throw, but pressure is coming. And throws it downfield, and not very far over the head of Alex Ward, who has 6 interceptions this season.
And if he catches that one, it's 6. Again, you know, Alex Ward he's been around the football a lot. But once again, great pressure. Fairfield kind of figured that one out, and they're going to get the ball back with a little momentum here.
That's the key. They got to stop. It wasn't just a turnover what Argyle had on the bad punt snap earlier. That was an actual legitimate stop after Argyle had moved it beyond midfield. But now, here's the punt from the left footer.
Great punt.
And Sadler boots it down inside the 10. Oh, my goodness. What a punt and what a job to hustle downfield. It's down to the 2-yard line. 47 yards without a return. And Ian Sadler just continues to do the job, whatever they're asking him to do.
Yep, he did. And he just flipped the field. You know, Fairfield did a great job on a solid defensive stand and should have got the ball back in great position. Now they're back inside their 3. So, again, there's Sadler flipping the field.
And an excellent job by Dalton Ledford to get down there and down that play at the 2.
Right.
So from the 2, Fairfield deep in its own end of the field. Gallegos will hand the ball off to Rose. Bounces forward for a pair of yards to the 4-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 8. David Bearden the tackle.
David Bearden made a saving tackle that time on a shoestring.
Well, don't you know, John Bechtel would love to see his team drive at 98 yards, get a touchdown right before the half to get this even after all of the difficulties his team had early.
He knows they're capable.
2nd down and 8. Here's Rose. Rose outside and across the 10. He's got a 1st down. For a moment, he had visions of maybe taking it all the way on that one carry. Settled for a 10-yarder.
He did. You know, Argyle secondary is having to get really active in tackling right now, and you know, they sure like to see their linebackers get in that a little quicker. But Rose is doing a great job getting into that secondary level.
It's at the 14-yard line. Of course, last night in the Cisco Refugio 2A Division II championship game, we saw a 95-yard touchdown run for Cisco after a defensive stop. And here's Gallegos keeping himself across the 15 to the 16-yard line for a pickup of a couple.
That senior offensive line from Fairfield is doing a really good job. They're playing as a unit, and they're giving Gallegos and Rose some initial holes to get up in.
You see those big fellas there. Look at big 77 Colton Gatson there, the left tackle. That is one big physical group, and that's a major reason why Fairfield is 15-0 and playing in its first ever state championship game. But the Eagles going to need a timeout here.
Timeout. Fairfield, their first charge of the first half.
And a 2nd down and 8 coming up, and John Bechtel says that's okay. So it's 17-10 Argyle with the lead on Fairfield in this battle of the Eagles. And send it back to our Fox Sports Southwest studios and check in with Rick Renner.
Hey, Craig, coming up on the Ford Halftime Show, Randy Rogers will join me as we break down highlights of the first half. Plus, we'll celebrate Carthage's 4th title in the last 6 years. That's after you guys finish up the first half. I'll kick it back over to you, Craig. And by the way, we've classened up the place with Coach McCoy.
I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah. And I think we can say the same thing with Randy Rogers in the studio with Rick. You know, Rick and I are in that studio every Friday night at midnight for High School Scoreboard Live. So maybe a little bit of separation was good for the both of us here. Get some guys to help us out and class up the joint, as he says.
Me and Randy are getting to hang out with some pretty good guys, so I appreciate that, Rick.
It's at the 16-yard line, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for Fairfield.
I'm sure there's a temptation here to try to put the ball in the air, but you know, we'll see what they're thinking. That option to give that ball to Larry Rose is still a big, nice option.
Gallegos does look to throw out to Rose, and he has the football with a catch upfield. So it's the old floor wax and dessert topping. You put the ball in Rose's hands, it's just a pass instead of a run, and it goes for 13 yards.
Exactly. We're going to pitch it out there a little further than we normally do. He can catch well, too. What a weapon. And like I said, he's the reason for a lot of their offensive success, and they're going to have to really rely on him a lot tonight. I'm really impressed with number 12 that's coming in here, too. Yeah, Bryson Gates, he's a load too.
There's another pass. That one's caught. Look out here, Chris Leidy. Leidy, say goodnight to it. 69 yards.
Oh, Dylan Ledford is aggravated with himself, the corner from Argyle. He had that red. He had his hand on the ball. He just didn't make the play, and he knows it. Boy, he was in great position, but just didn't make the play.
And that's the risk you take here on this play.
Exactly. And that you can see he was right on top of the play, and Connor was a little bit flat on his angle. But when you play this style of bump and run, man-to-man defense, you're taking those chances. And it was just a great throw, you know, Dalton just didn't get his hand on it like he needed to.
Eric Rodriguez-Hayes ties the score at 17. Jacob Gallegos downfield to Chris Leidy, and the game is tied 17-17.
Yeah, it's you know, in that style of defense, if you catch the ball and you get behind them, there's nobody else. There's nobody else to help you back there in the safety position when you're playing that just really close man-to-man.
Well, this turned out to be what we thought, or what we commented the possibility. 98-yard touchdown drive, and yeah, Chris's relatives there all cheering on. Nephew, a cousin, a grandma, they're all there cheering him on.
They're not proud at all. Again, you can see just a quick strike, quick post. He's got his hands there, but makes the catch, and once again, Connor, that free safety position, is out of position, and there's just no one else to help. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And as we talked to Coach Rogers earlier in the week, Craig, you know, that's what he said. He said, we have full commitment to this style of defense and what we do, and we're going to, he made the statement, we're going to win more of those battles than we lose. Well, he just lost one. We'll see what else happens.
Here's the kickoff, another short one, and Sadler can field this from the 21. Here goes Sadler. Look out here. Still on his feet all the way out near midfield. Now, Brad, we mentioned that John Bechtel certainly would have loved to see his team drive 98 yards. They did, but they did it in just 5 plays in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So they've left Argyle plenty of time, and now only half the field to have to negotiate to reclaim the lead before the half is done.
Yeah, and that's the tough part, because now you've only got 50 yards. Again, we commented earlier, the kicking game is so important. You know, whether you have a start at the 25 and now they get to start at the 50. So the percentages go way up of their ability to go score. So let's see how they answer. But, you know, Fairfield's pretty high right now.
Todd Rogers knows his team will also get the football to start the second half. So they'd like to retake the lead before halftime and then get the ball to start the second half. And they'll go back down on the ground as it goes to Connor Wilson, and then he's driven back. The 45-yard line of Fairfield before he was driven back by Danny Cockrell and Dedrick Gardner. Argyle has 1 timeout remaining. Fairfield has 2.
They don't seem to be in too big a hurry.
Second down and 5. Boise. Off play action. Throwing for Sadler. Just a little beyond his reach. Got a hand on it, but incomplete. Now it's 3rd down.
Great idea. Had Sadler behind him. Boise just led him a little far. Got one hand on it. Yeah, just, you know, just a little more, little excitement there. The adrenaline of the game is really high right now. The back and forth, and you know, Fairfield having a mountain of a great comeback where they are right now in the first half. So everybody's riding a pretty good high right now.
3rd down and 5 for Argyle at the Fairfield 45. Sadler now in the backfield, lined up behind Boise. And Sadler throws the block. There's a flag down. The pass goes to Ralston out of the backfield. It would be enough for the first down, but let's check the flag. It was thrown on the opposite side of the field, away from the direction from which the play came.
It looks like that one's probably going to come back. It may be a formation issue.
Our referee from the Austin chapter, Clark Calvert.
Illegal procedure, 5 men in the backfield, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
And Brad explained that to some folks. It's not necessarily it's the 5 in the backfield. It's not enough on the offensive line.
On the line of scrimmage. You got to have the right amount, and that they shifted into a formation and had too many guys off the line of scrimmage, and so that not only cost them 5 yards, it cost them a big gain. So
it might not necessarily be 5 actually in the backfield per se, but not enough straight up on the line of scrimmage, too far, a little bit offset.
Exactly. You have to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. So you got your 5 linemen, and you have to have 2 others.
It's now 3rd and 10 from midfield. Pressure coming. Staggering the throw downfield and incomplete. Sadler was double covered, and it'll bring up 4th down.
He really wanted to go to Connor Wilson, but he just couldn't get time. Connor was going across the formation with a drag over to the far sideline, but he just couldn't ever get his body in position to get back to it.
The knee touchdown for Boise, and it's 4th down. It's a loss of 5 more yards, and now on 4th and 15, Sadler will have to punt. Now he had a 47-yarder that was down at the 2-yard line last time. Chance Carroll's hoping he has a chance to return it for Fairfield. Sadler's kick with pressure coming is away, and it's a good one. A beauty, and it's touched, picked up, and then down at the 5-yard line. Boy, that was scary. A 51-yarder that time from Ian Sadler, and Chance Carroll took a chance And now it'll be on the own 5-yard line, under 2 minutes to go. Look at this again, Brad.
Yeah, he really did. He's just lucky he got a good bounce right there, and it just popped back up to him. Man, the Argyle kicking game is really keeping them out in front tonight with their kickoff, and Ian in the punting position. That's a 48 and a 51-yard with no return. That just puts 95 yards between them and a score now before the half is over.
And again, the gunner was Dalton Ledford, who got down and was covering, but here goes Rose outside. Oh my goodness! Rose was so close to going 95 yards. He'll settle for 23.
Ooh, I'm telling you, Dalton that was one finger right there on him. Dalton missed him last time and just got one. In fact, I don't know if he did or not. I think that might have been the.
I think Connor Wilson got a hand right there.
May have. It just barely tripped him. You know, Connor missed the pass a while ago, but he got a hand on that one. Yeah, that Rose is exciting.
Over 100 rushing yards now and over the middle. This time it goes to Alex Ward and a first down. And look at Fairfield mixing its attack now with the run and the pass. And they have a first down, and now they've got some designs on taking a lead before the half is done.
Exactly. They got Argyle cheated down into a little cover 2 look, and they got Ward right between the safeties. You know, they're trying to keep all that they can.
And Todd Rogers is going to call the final timeout for Argyle.
Their third and final timeout of the first half.
I think Todd thinks that his guys may be a little bit gassed on defense, certainly back on their heels, but he wants to settle them down a little bit, take that last timeout, make sure they keep Fairfield from continuing this momentum and then completely not only surrendering the lead, but falling behind by intermission.
Exactly. Yeah, there's some frustration on the field right now. You know, I know Connor Wilson is feeling some of that just by some of the body language that he has. You know, they just haven't seen it. They haven't seen people do this to him. But great mixing of the offense, you know, from Coach Bachtel and his staff at Fairfield, really using Larry Rose in positions where they have to have him, and then being able to counter with that when they're pulling up to see the run and come off a little play action and big plays.
Look at John Bachtel working his guys, talking to them, cajoling, prodding, getting them
absolutely
fired up.
He is, and they got Connor Wilson on the bench. I don't know if it's an issue. They're kind of looking at him some way. So they've got another free safety in the game now, and they're going to need him back in. Good formation here.
From the 46, handoff, spinning forward, still on his feet, and look at this run by Bryson Gates, still moving forward, and Gates all the way down to the 26-yard line before Dalton Ledford can finally bring it down. That's a 20-yard run.
And 18 of that with people on his back, Greg. What a great run. I like this kid. This Dalton Gates kid is a tough. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3 missed tackles, and he's just going to take the rest of them with him. He picks up an extra 15 yards.
Wow, here's Bryson Gates again, this time for a couple to the 24. Now you keep an eye on the clock, down to a minute, and Fairfield will use its second timeout of the first half. Think John Bachtel's having fun?
Timeout. Fairfield. Their second charge timeout of the first half.
Yeah, they held on. They held the rope in the surge of not being in the state finals the first quarter, and they got behind 17-3, and now they've figured it up. So we're going to look at these last 2 scores here and where they came from. You know, just catching up. Here's a little zone read give. Got a great move right there from Larry Rose. And obviously just a great defense, but just got a hand short, and a 69-yard touchdown from Chris Lyde. And well, the game is on. They're back in it.
So Lyde takes it in, and now at the 25-yard line. You brought up a good point, Brad, and you look at those last 2 scoring drives of 74 and 98 yards. They have a chance here to go 90+ on this drive. Is that both teams, both of these schools, are dealing with things they haven't seen an awful lot of or haven't had to really deal with. And we'll talk more about that. But first, and a flag goes down. I think there was some movement before it goes.
Ball start. Offense. The 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
For Fairfield in the first quarter, it was dealing with Argyle's speed and the open spaces. Here in the second quarter, it's Argyle dealing with the brute force of that offensive front of Fairfield.
Exactly, and a good mix of run and pass. So they're not sure what they have to defend the most right now. But you know, Fairfield's just being really consistent.
Second down. And Gallegos trapped in the backfield. Excellent open field play made by Reagan Page. A loss of 4 yards.
That was a big save right there from Reagan. He shot the A gap pretty well and brings up a really 3rd and long now.
3rd down and 17 needed. Excellent open field play made by Page.
It was, you know, it was a full quarterback draw the whole time. Gallegos may not have held that quite long enough. He would have been well served to hold that just a little bit longer to sell it. But now we're in a great position here.
3rd down and 17. Gallegos going to loft it down the sidelines and incomplete. Intended for Cameron Hicks, the sophomore receiver, battling Reese Thompson, the senior corner, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Great effort by Gallegos. You know, you put the ball in the air about 35 yards, and the arc was perfect. His guy could catch it or nobody else did, but great defensive position there. And, you know, and that's what you need to do. You've got to take a shot at that right there.
Timeout. Fairfield. Their 3rd and final timeout of the 1st half.
Fairfield calls its final timeout here, Brad, and I think maybe John Bachtel's thinking there's 14 seconds to go in the half. Why not take a shot? Punting might not do much. It may only pick up 14 yards in field position if it goes in the end zone because of the touchback coming out with a 20. If they don't convert, then Argyle has probably less than 10 seconds to work with, and they have no timeouts. Why not take a shot?
I think they will. I don't think they'll give the ball up here on a punt. You know, if you had Argyle's kicker, they may be trying to kick a field goal from right here. But I think you're going to see, you know, a screen or maybe another shot in the end zone. But I think they won't give it up.
Well, 2 splendid days of championships becomes 3 days tomorrow. The 4A Division II state title. Can anybody stop Aledo? The Bearcats are 15 points away from becoming the first high school in the United States of America to score 1,000 points in the season. But the Brenham Cubs explosive as well. That's at noon. 5A Division I final. Allen, the defending state champs, take on the Pearland Oilers at 4. And then the 5A Division II title on the line at 8 o'clock. Defending state champion Katy against Cedar Hill, a rematch of last year's 5A D2 title matchup right here in Arlington. 3 great games tomorrow here on Fox Sports Southwest. 14 seconds to go in the half. And Gallegos will set up the double pass downfield, wide open, caught for the touchdown. Chris Lyon does it again. However, there's a flag down. I think this is going to come back because I think Alex Ward might have moved early.
Yep, he had a little forward motion too early. Man, what a call.
He's explaining it right now to Jacob Gallegos, but here comes the call from Clark Calvert.
Legal shift. Offense. The 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
We'll get another look at it. John Bachtel doesn't like it, but you'll see a couple of guys move.
Right.
1, 2.
Just 2 at the same time. Everything was fine. If the back stays still, it's all legal. But you just can't have 2 guys going at the same time.
And that's why it's called.
Man, what a tough break to have that. Great play draw, great deception, great throw. Wow. Let's see what they can pull out of the hat this time.
Well, they'll have another shot here with 6 seconds to go in the half. The play worked, but for the second man moving. They'll overload 3 men up top. And that's where Gallegos is looking. Does have a man.
He got it.
Touchdown, Alex Ward. Are you believing this?
That's awesome. Again, you know, you've got that tight press man, and you've got a guy like Alex Ward that can really run. He's got more speed, and Gallegos has done it. He's got a great deep ball, and he threw that ball about 45 yards on the dot in the air. So just great job. 3-step drop, and he just leads his man where he needs to. Ward makes some separation, and Gallegos puts it right where he has to. What a play.
And all that has to happen is a tackle there, and the half would have expired without the score, even if it had been at the 1-yard line.
Exactly.
But it doesn't happen. And on the final play of the first half, Jacob Gallegos to Alex Ward for the touchdown, and Fairfield has the lead for the first time in the ballgame. 21 unanswered points for the Eagles. They lead Argyle at intermission 24-17.
Man,
what a turnaround.
What a turnaround. What a great comeback. And just it shows the heart and fight of a team. that hadn't been here before. They were a little stymied, little nervous overcoming the first quarter, but settled down. Their coaches got their attention, got them settled down, stayed with the plan, mixed their offense. Defense played well, and like I say, 21 unanswered points coming back and making a great game. This is going to be an exciting halftime for both those teams. Let's go down to the sidelines. Neil Beasley with John Bechtel.
Thanks, Coach. You guys got a flair for the dramatic. Tell me about this half.
Just the kids are playing hard. That's all we're trying to do is play with a whole lot of heart.
Is there anything more than anything else you're going to talk about at the halftime?
Just keep playing hard, baby. Keep it simple. That's what we've done all year, is keep it simple.
Good luck second half, Coach.
All
Man
right.
on a mission, guys.
Yeah, no question about it. And the mission was to turn it around from a 17-3 second quarter deficit. Final play of the half. Gallegos to Alex Ward, and Fairfield leads. Halftime at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, where the Fairfield Eagles lead the Argyle Eagles 24-17. Pleased to be joined by the Executive Director of the University Interscholastic League, Dr. Charles Breidup, whose staff has been working, as we say, round the clock. You guys take any time to enjoy what's going on out here?
You know what? You can't help but enjoy these games. Very exciting. Some great crowds today, and it's the wonderful football we anticipated all along.
Well, and this also brings to mind the whole single site concept. It had been around for a while, had been talked about for a while. It took a lot of hard work on the part of a lot of people to ultimately make this happen, to have these kind of crowds in these kind of games.
Well, Craig, you're right, and you know our staff very well, and I have to give the accolades to Dr. Mark Cousins and the athletics staff, and of course the AT&T staff and the work they've done to roll out the red carpet. This has been a fabulous 2 days. We have another third day along tomorrow, but so far so good, and we're really excited about what we've seen.
You were hanging out on the sidelines with Jerry Jones, and we visited with him earlier. He told us in the interview that he was pleased to see what was going on. I'm sure he told you the similar story.
Well, he rehashed the fact that he's committed to high school football. He's loved football in Texas, and he knows how important it is to us, and he just wanted to reissue the statement, we love you being here, we love high school football, we want to be a part of it.
Now, as far as other sports go, you just had the state volleyball championships in Garland. I know you were pleased with at the Colwell Center the way it's worked, and of course we're around the corner from basketball and spring sports as well.
Well, you know, it never stops, and we have a new contest, Student Congress, coming on in January. We're excited about that. Our state academic meet, which doesn't get a lot of publicity, but is the true essence of our competition. We're really pleased with the work that our students in our academic competition and how they compete there, and also our cross-sex debate. We have a lot of spring activities, you know, baseball, softball, track and field, golf and tennis, swimming and diving, so it never stops for the UIL staff.
Charles, what is the next big challenge you think that's around the corner for the UIL and the challenges that the member institutions are facing?
Well, of course, the release of the realignment will always be a challenge. State is our size with 1,400 high schools, trying to create equity without creating a lot of expense for our schools. So we'll always be sensitive to that. We'll also always listen to what our schools tell us they desire. We have great competition because we have great coaches and directors. We have great athletes and students, and we have great judges and officials. I think that makes for a real, true championship experience.
And I think you make a great point there, because the general perception that many people around the state have is, well, the UIL sits somewhere in an ivory tower and dispenses law, and that's how it is. But it's the member institutions, those superintendents, those principals, those people, those are the ones who are coming up with the rules by which everybody abides, and you guys are the enforcement arm.
Well, Craig, you're right, and as a former coach, I'll tell you, I thought it was that way too. I thought it was an ivory tower situation, but it really isn't. It's a grassroots organization. The schools make the rules, they adjudicate the rules, and the schools have much control of what happens. We give the game to the kids. That's what it's all about. And they certainly provide us a great deal of entertainment.
You going to watch the second half of this?
You bet. It's a great one.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Charles.
Thanks, Craig.
Dr. Charles Breidup, the Executive Director of the University Interscholastic League. Let's take a look at the first half highlights of this one. And this was after Fairfield was down 17-3, and they finally got their offense in gear. And, of course, that means the sturdy legs of Larry Rose, a 23-yard touchdown there. That cut the margin to 17-10. Then to the air, Chris Light turns this pass into a long touchdown of 69 yards. The game was tied at 17. Fairfield gets the ball back, had a touchdown called back, and then one play later on the final play of the half, the touchdown pass over the top That one going through to Alex Ward, and you see John Backo liking what he sees as all of a sudden his Fairfield Eagles lead this one by a score of 24-17. And Brad McCoy looking at the first half stats, all of a sudden Fairfield flipping the script here.
They really are. What a different change from the first to second quarter. Of course, I think it just took them a while to catch up with never being here. Get over the wow factor.
All right, let's go down to the field and check in with Neil Beasley.
But I can't imagine that was a happy locker room at halftime.
No, we had ourselves in position. That's a good football team over there, and they did some things that we had to go in and make some adjustments at halftime. I feel good about it. We've got smart kids. We've had to do a lot of things like this at halftime over the course of the whole year, so I'm expecting a lot of good things second half.
Okay, was that more making adjustments or doing what you do, just doing it better?
We just need to make some adjustments. We're going to run some line stunts and try to shut down that good running back they got.
Awesome. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks very much, Neil. And you heard it there from Todd Rogers that we'll change a few things, and coaches do that. They make those adjustments, Brad. He talked about some line stunts and doing a few things differently in the second half.
Well, it's going to be hugely key right here, Craig, in a game like this where the momentum has shifted twice. You know, adjustments at halftime are going to be really, I mean, who makes the best ones? That's really what's going to come out in this third quarter. Who did the job at halftime to make the greatest adjustments?
What a ball game we had in the first half, and now Argyle's got to turn it around in the third quarter. They had a 17-3 lead and looked to be in complete control of this one until Fairfield finally got its ground game going and really got that push up front from its offensive line.
They really did. And, you know, you talk to coaches, does your pass set up the run? Does your run set up the pass? Well, you see a classic example right there. Fairfield's run set up everything they wanted to do through the air, and they were able to score in the last possession, the last play of the game, because people were so worried about, what Larry Rose was going to do. But, man, I just give a lot of credit to those guys at Fairfield, Coach Backo, just keeping them in it, because they were down. I mean, they were out. They were shell-shocked. They were big-eyed, and they were out of it. But they kept it together, got back to their game, and man, it's a ball game now.
Well, you mentioned Larry Rose. He had 104 rushing yards and a touchdown in the first half. Gallegos was just 5 of 10 and had 2 interceptions on the first 2 drives, but he turned it around, 149 passing yards and the 2 touchdowns.
He did a great job, and I tell you what, they just hung in there and fought back and done some great things. Those two guys did great, but I tell you what, Alex Ward, man, I'm talking about he kind of silently around those other, but Alex Ward, both sides of the ball, he did some super things. Obviously catching the ball on the last play, but defensively and being around the ball, he contributed.
Kickoff to come from Fairfield, and there's the kickoff, and that one is fielded at the 15-yard line by Hunter Treadwell. Treadwell breaking it out across the 45. One thing Argyle has had in abundance in this contest this afternoon, now getting into the evening, Brad McCoy, is field position. They've got good field position again.
They really have. It's been phenomenal, because Fairfield's had to go 90-95.
Well, that's part of the reason why Fairfield has that edge in total offense of 308 yards to 137, because of having those long scoring drives.
That's right. They haven't had to go as far.
Fairfield with the lead, that Argyle operates good field position from their own 48 to the ground. And Ralston. Ralston to the 45, a gain of 7 yards, a good first down carry.
Yeah, it's just good to see how they were going to respond, some adjustments and how they're going to respond to the second half. You know, both teams were really emotional, I'm sure, going in at halftime. A little bit different tinges, but they were both very emotional.
Second down and 3. And Brandon Boysick in position to take the shotgun snap. He'll hand it once more, and surging forward, but getting no further than the line of scrimmage was Nick Ralston. Maroon jerseys all around him there to make the tackle, led by Alex Ward and Danny Cockrell.
He's there. Number 81, Devin Eggins, the junior defensive tackle, really had a huge surge and really pushed the offensive line back. So that really helped Ward come in and clean that tackle up.
It is 3rd down and 3 for Argyle. And Sadler is one of the slot receivers at the bottom of your screen. And that's where Boysick is looking. Sadler fell down and made the catch. He would have done better to drop it. As it turned out to be a 1-yard loss, it was still fun to watch.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't even have to be on his feet to catch balls. He's down there. What a play. Yeah, you know, he just took a trip, you know, and what a great presence just to get his hands up and catch the ball. It wasn't a first down, but it's fun to watch him play.
Well, now everybody will watch him punt, and he's had 2 enormous punts only to see Fairfield drive back downfield. He's averaging 49 yards on his 2 punts, and here he goes with running room. A first down and more.
He may score.
Ian Sadler inside the 5-yard line. Off the fake punt, 42 yards. It'll be first and goal, Argyle.
You just cannot let down at this point when the ball's in his hands. He just, like I said, he caught it sitting down. He saw it, and I'm not real sure that was even a call. I'd be interested to know. I've seen him do some things before, but he's a soccer-style punter with his left leg. He started that way to punt. There was no one on contain. He saw it and thought he could get 10. I'd be interested to know if that was a call or just him.
So you're thinking instead of the rugby punt, he just took off?
I think so. There was no one there, and he saw it.
He's been the triple threat here in this one. And now he'll take the snap and take it into the end zone for the touchdown. Sadler made that happen. The fake punt run of 42 yards, and then finishing the drive with a touchdown run.
I was just fixing to say what a great 3-and-out stop for Fairfield, forcing the punt. But man, Sadler turned it around and made it a great start for Argyle.
His second touchdown. Now for the point after, Cole Hedlund, Mr. Automatic. 99 out of 99.
We may see the number 100 today.
Yeah. Ian Sadler into the end zone to tie the score at 24 here in the 3rd quarter of the 3A Division II Championship. Now a special message from Dairy Queen. Championship coverage is brought to you by State Farm. Visit texas.statefarm.com to get to a better state. By DQ for the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. DQ just tastes better. By your Texas Ford dealers. Enjoy year-end savings during the Dream Big sales event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Wrangler Premium Performance Advanced Comfort Jeans, available at Cavenders and Cavenders.com. 52-yard 5-play drive for Argyle, but 42 of it on the fake punt by Ian Sadler, who then finished the drive with a touchdown run.
We'll see how Fairfield can respond now.
Kickoff from Cole Hedlund. He's put them all out of reach. And he will do the same with this one. So a touchback. And again, the crucial play on the drive, Brad McCoy, the fake punt.
Yeah, if you watch this, you know, you got blockers. I don't know that they were blocking for him to punt. You know, they were pushing the force outside. Let's say it'd be really interesting to know if that was a call or if Ian just saw that on his own. I'll tell you what, Coach Rogers gives these guys a lot of freedom. They're seniors. They do a great job. So that looked like just a really heads-up play from Ian.
After the Sadler touchdown, Fairfield goes on offense. They go right back to the bread and butter of Larry Rose. Rose for a gain of 3. Micah Capra the tackle for Argyle. Well, the Fairfield offense turned it around. See what happened on those first 4 drives. Had a field goal out of it, but struggled, and 3 touchdowns in their last 3 drives. That's our State Farm stat for you here in the 3rd quarter, and it's 2nd down and 7. Gallegos looking to throw, in trouble. What an excellent job by Micah Capra, the senior end, to drop Gallegos for a loss of 7.
Micah does a great job splitting that. Just a little curl stunt on the outside. Nobody takes him. And Gallegos was trying to get rid of the ball a little quicker, but he just couldn't get free.
You're right. He was trying to escape. He spun around, but Capra simply wouldn't let go Gallegos. And from the 21-yard line, it is now 3rd down and 14. Rose and Ward in the backfield. And here's Gallegos under the gun again. Now he's got some running room, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. Nice job by the Argyle defense. Colton Hendricks, middle linebacker, on the tackle. Pickup of 7.
Pretty good feet on Gallegos here. He gets out of the mix a little bit. I think he has some running room. Great pursuit there by Hendricks. Just couldn't get anybody open. Again, that man-to-man was covering him up that time.
4th down. And the punt coming from Gallegos. Kicking away from Sadler, fields it over the shoulder. Turn in the corner. Outside. Sadler will not be stopped. He'll bring it back 64 yards for a touchdown on the punt return. And Argyle, just like that, is back in front.
Wow. Dynamic. Got a couple of good blocks. You know, the coverage didn't get to it. But again, he's just a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. They tried to kick it over him. And you know, he caught it like a pass. Made one good turn, got a block right there, and it was over.
Big block by Taylor Sweat, the sophomore linebacker as well. And Sadler able to take it in for the score. There is a Fairfield Eagle down on the field. Ian Sadler's done a little bit of everything, as we told you at the top of the telecast. He does a little bit of everything. You know, Todd Rogers just simply wants to get the ball in his hands in space.
Exactly.
And he's done that tonight.
Lots of different ways, and that won't stop. But again, we're looking at the same scenario as the first half, where Argyle just jumps out to a couple of quick touchdowns. Fairfield kind of gathers themselves, gets the momentum, and comes back. So we'll see if they can gather that again, because 2 quick scores by Argyle starting the second half, and they go from 7 up to 7 down in a hurry, and we'll see how they respond to that.
And maybe a serious moment there for Fairfield. You see Dedrick Garner being helped off the field, their junior defensive end, as Garner was helped off the field. Now Cole Hedlund for the extra point. Argyle back in front after trailing. Kick is good, and it's a 31-24 lead for the Eagles. We'll go down to the sidelines and check in with Neil Beasley.
All right, you were talking about, hey, does Ian Sadler have the green light anytime he wants to go on a fake punt, because it looked like they were blocking for a punt? Well, he does. If they see something they like, Ian can take off at any time, because he's Ian Sadler. And it worked that time, guys.
All right, thanks. Well, you're right. He is Ian Sadler. The other thing is that he's built up that trust by making smart decisions on the field, and that was a big decision on the fake punt that went. That's just your conventional 64-yard punt return touchdown, what we just saw there.
Yeah, he did it on both ends, and it looked like Ian made that decision on the punt earlier on his own, because of the way the blocks were having. But again, it does take a lot of trust from your coach, and you have to build that up as a player. I'm sure he's made a couple of bad decisions, but as you can see tonight, he's making some great ones in this gold ball game.
Now the question here, Brad, becomes, can Fairfield respond a second time? They were down 14 points at 17-3 in the second quarter. Came back with 21 unanswered points to lead at the half, 24-17. Now they've given up 2 touchdowns very quickly here in the third quarter.
Right.
To fall behind.
I think they can. I think they just have to settle down. Don't try to get ahead of themselves. Get back on the Larry Rose train, and let's go.
Well, they'll be starting from their 25, as they have all of their drives after Argyle scores and after the opening kickoff, because Cole Hedlund is 100% on those touchbacks and those kickoffs.
He is, and people don't realize just what your percentage is. If you have to go 75 yards as opposed to 50 yards, the percentage of offenses that drop off in the scoring percentage, it's amazing. And obviously the punt game and the kick game tonight with Argyle is superior, and it's really put Fairfield in the hole.
On that extra point, Hedlund made it 100 out of 100.
That's amazing.
It's a record.
It's amazing they scored 100 touchdowns anyhow.
Yeah. On first down, here's Rose. Outside. Good first down carry for Larry Rose. All the way to the 39-yard line, a 14-yard gain.
Again, they've just got to get back on this. Great surge to the offensive line. Good blocks Reese Thompson comes off his corner, makes the tackle, but, you know, it's a 9-10 yard gain, and they just got to be patient and stay with it. That's how they crawl back in the first half.
Rose to 121 yards rushing.
He's got a pretty good average going.
Option toss to Rose this time. Outside, but strung out nicely by the Argyle defense, led by Drew Estrada. Only 1 yard as they managed to feather that option outside.
Right. You know, you have to run a little option look to keep them honest. You know, Connor does a great job, but Larry Rose his strong suit is straight ahead. Give him the ball deep, let him make one cut with his eyes. Argyle's pretty fast to string it out, so option's probably not the way they're going to get back in it.
Rose is averaging 7.6 yards per carry tonight. Second down. This one to Bryson Gates. And Argyle's defense ready on the call. No gain. Colton Hendricks on the tackle.
Argyle's rising up. They feel it. They got a little momentum going right now, and Fairfield's just got to overcome this little surge. It's a tough time for them right now. 3rd and 9. They're going to have to come up with something here.
Todd Rogers, meanwhile, sees the momentum shifting back toward his team.
He does. He does.
And now it's 3rd down and 9 from the 40.
I'm gonna look for Alex Rose here, number 5. He needs to make a play for him.
One of the 3 receivers up top. Gallegos with time over the middle, incomplete. He was looking across the middle for Colby Minzy, the junior receiver, but too high on the pass, and Fairfield will have to kick it away. And away, meaning for sure trying to kick it away from Ian Sadler. By the way, Reagan Page just hobbled off the bench, or off the field rather, to the bench, and the training staff for Argyle checking him out. Might only be a cramp, but they're over there looking at Page.
Well, I would be surprised if Coach Bechtel hadn't instructed his punter to kick this ball out of bounds.
There's the kick. It is away, and it is away from Page, or rather from Sadler, and it did go out of bounds. It went out of bounds. There's also a flag down. It went out of bounds at the 33-yard line. There is a flag down. However, it would be a 27-yard punt with no return, but hold on while the officials sort out the infraction here. This Austin chapter, chaired by Clark Calvert, and he's Larry Hartgrove, the umpire.
Holding on the return team. It's a 10-yard penalty. Penalty being forced from the end of the run. First down.
Aaron Webb, the head linesman, Mark Liggett, the line judge, and Marcelo Rodriguez, the back judge. Tom Hartwick, the alternate. Austin area chapter, they've had their hands full. Argyle with the lead.
I bought my new kitchen from Builders.
Opinions and insight you need on the NFL and college football. Fox Football Daily. Weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. Only on Fox Sports 1. Brad McCoy, you were just saying during the break, this is kind of an important defensive series coming up for Fairfield.
It really is. They don't want to go down 2 touchdowns. They need to blow up right here.
First down, handoff, and jumping past one would-be tackler. I think Ralston, he continues to surge forward and ends up with a 5-yard carry to the 28 before Josh Gallegos can bring him down.
Powerful legs. Nick sure does a great job. You want to teach kids to keep running, run through tackles, and Nick Ralston is a great example of that.
Sadler winds up in the slot. Now he'll line up in the backfield behind the quarterback. There's Ian. He'll line up behind Brandon Bozick. And it is Sadler. Bouncing through, over 100 yards rushing for the ball game up to the 30-yard line. And it's now going to be 3rd down and 3 coming up for Argyle.
Big play here. They really need to rise up. Of course, Argyle's doing such a good job mixing it up. You don't know where you need to get a little run blitz or try to blitz a quarterback. They've got Fairfield kind of on their heels, but they need a big play right here on 3rd down.
So down and 3. Sadler again lines up in the backfield behind Bozick, the quarterback. And it is a toss to Ian Sadler. Side has the first down. Has to pick up a couple of key blocks and just kind of lowered his shoulder and leaned forward.
He did. You know, they had him position. They were out there, but boy, he just came and ran over him for the first down. Just a little option look. You know, Fairfield's in good position there, but you know, he just wins the battle. Got that extra yard, and Alex Ward was right there, but Ian had the momentum on him that time.
4-yard carry for Sadler. And Argyle with a first down from its own 34 here as we draw toward the late stages of the third quarter. Entertaining 3A Division II state championship. The lead has changed hands a couple of times. Throws it off play action.
Got him open.
Down the middle. Intercepted. Picked off by Chance Carroll. And Carroll has it across midfield. I think you're right. I don't think that Brandon Brosick saw J.C. Chalk wide open down the boundary. Instead, it went over the middle for an interception, the second of the ball game.
Yeah, he never saw him. You know, Chalk had a little post corner in the top. He never saw him. He comes back down. Linebacker drops. Again, he just didn't account for that guy. I know he'll want that one back. But that's what Fairfield had to do to get back in this.
So good field position at long last for the Eagles. For the Argyle 49, and Rose turning the corner. But stringing it out well was Colton Heinrichs. Heinrichs drops him after a gain of a couple.
Yeah, a little zone read. Gallegos would have been a little smarter to keep that one that time. They were really keying on Rose, so not sure they really read that or not. But they're staring down number 3, finding out where he is. I don't blame them.
Second down and 8. Number 3 is in the backfield. That's Larry Rose. He's at 124 rushing yards tonight. It's Rose. Bounces forward for 3 more yards before Micah Capra can make the stop at the 44-yard line. And third down and 5 coming up for Fairfield.
There you go. Capra had what a great tackle, because there was a lot of room for Rose after that. But Capra made a great tackle. He does such a good job on that line of scrimmage, and you know, making tackles deeper. Big play here.
Third down and 5. Gallegos from the shotgun. The handoff again, and Rose, first down and more. Picks up 10 more yards down to the Argyle 34-yard line before Colton Katzen can make the stop.
That's really where Rose is the most dangerous. Straight up, let his eyes make one cut. You know, the last 2 plays, he's got 14 yards, and he's running through those A-gaps. Let that big offensive line turn them loose and let him get it behind them. Spreading it out wide is they're catching up.
At the 34, Gallegos, one-on-one coverage down the side, and that is caught. Inside the 5-yard line down to the 3, it's Chris Light again. 30 yards. It'll be first and goal for Fairfield.
Again, a little look. Light just gets behind him again and gets back inside, makes a great catch. Great adjustment to the ball. I'm sure that all those aunts and uncles and grandmas over there, they're plenty happy.
The Light family have to be happy. Look at that nice sliding catch. Boy, it is something else. Now from the 4-yard line, first and goal Fairfield. It's Rose. Oh, was he popped hard after a gain of only a yard. Colton Hendricks, who's made some big stops here in the third quarter, comes up with another one.
He has. Connor Wilson was right there with him. Of course, that free safety can come up a little bit here on the 4-yard line. He doesn't have to play pass as much. But I would give a steady dose to number 3 right here.
Second and goal from the 3 of Argyle. Gallegos to take the snap from under center. That's Bryson Gates, the fullback, but it goes to Larry Rose, and he's tripped up. A yard loss, back to the 4. Hunter Treadwell, the safety, coming up in run support. Now it's third down and goal.
It is, and you know, it's probably 4 down here. I think you're going to see that. You know, they just got to keep it up. You know, they got the ball down here. They just got to keep running it, pounding it at them.
Ball is just barely inside the 5-yard line, so a loss of about a yard and a half. Rose is back there along with Bryson Gates.
Don't go to sleep on Bryson.
Gallegos to throw outside and beyond the reach of Rose. Gallegos had to get rid of the ball a moment earlier than he wanted to, and so Rose could not get there. And Fairfield may be looking at 4-down territory.
I think they probably are. It was a great concept, great call, but just didn't get those ends coming off the edge quite enough time for a guy who goes to get a good look and get Rose open, get his head turned.
Well, the offense staying on the field for the Eagles. Biggest play of the ball game to this point. 4th down and goal just inside the 5. Gallegos rolling out, pass defended, knocked away by Dalton Ledford. Great play against wide receivers, unhappy that there was not a hold or a pass interference, but it'll go over to Argyle.
Great defensive play. Argyle just did a great job, and again, that's a tough throw to make against a press man defense from the 5. You're just not going to get much separation in that short a period of time. So that's kind of surprising that's what they have. But I'm sure they've been used to doing that at other times. But that press man took effect right then.
So Argyle will start from its own 5-yard line. And Sadler will line up in the quarterback position to take the snap. I think this might be just a straight run on the part of Sadler.
I don't think it'll leave his hand.
As he stands on his own goal line. Does send a man in motion, but he'll keep it. And Ian Sadler pops forward for a gain of 4 yards to the 9-yard line. Even when it looks like he doesn't have anything, he'll wind up with 3 or 4 yards.
He's so shifty in the hole. That little dead leg in the hole commits a defense one way, and he's going to make the first guy miss almost every time.
2nd down and 6. Inside a minute to go, 3rd quarter. Big defensive stand for Argyle, holding a 1-touchdown lead on Fairfield here in the 3A Division II State Championship. Sadler remains the man to take the snap in the shotgun. Turns and will hand it outside, but that goes nowhere for Pucciarello, who's brought down by Jeremiah Simpson. Pucciarello winds up with no gain on the play, and now it is 3rd down and 6. And that's what Argyle will have to consider as they walk all the way down to the other end of the field. We're at the end of the 3rd quarter of the UIL Class 3A Division II State Football Championship from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. It's the Argyle Eagles 31, the Fairfield Eagles 24. 12 more minutes of Class 3A football in Texas still to come right after this. We welcome you back to Arlington, to AT&T Stadium, home of the UIL State High School Football Championships. Greg Way, Brad McCoy, Neil Beasley, and our Fox Sports Southwest crew with you as we begin the 4th quarter of the 3A Division II state title game. The Argyle Eagles lead the Fairfield Eagles 31-24, and for Argyle, it is a 3rd down and 6 from their own 9-yard line. Ian Sadler stays in the shotgun, and he looks to throw, but he's hit, and that might be a safety. It is. 2 points to Fairfield. Jeremiah Simpson, the senior linebacker.
What a play. What a play. That's a huge momentum shift right there. And really surprising that Ian would let him get caught there. Of course, surprising he's going to throw the ball. They had kind of a little screen set up to both sides, nobody in the middle, and he just didn't have any place to go with it.
All of a sudden, it's a 5-point game at 31-26. And Argyle will have to free kick it. What a seesaw game we've had, Brad, with Argyle having a 17-3 lead in the 2nd quarter. Fairfield rattles off 21 unanswered to take a 24-17 lead at the half, including the pass downfield on the final play of the 1st half for the touchdown to Alex Ward. Argyle comes right back down off a fake punt. They get 42 yards, and then Ian Sadler scores. And then after forcing a punt, Sadler returns it 64 yards for a touchdown. They go up 31-24. But Fairfield just hanging around and now they come up with a safety, and they're going to get the ball back.
They are. They just stuck in there. You know, and it kind of, if you saw that last clip, Jeremiah Simpson that just had the tackle for a safety. If you ever looked at his helmet, what a warrior. I don't think he's got a piece of paint left on his helmet if you looked at it a while ago. Amazing. You can tell it's just a tough player. So yeah, they've hung in there, and now we've got a kicking situation, but we're kicking from the 20. Let's see what he does with this one.
Over 100 tackles for Jeremiah Simpson. None bigger than that one to put 2 points on the board and hand the football back to Fairfield. Yeah, well, now, how far can Cole Hedlund kick this? From his 20. This one will be returnable from the 16-yard line. It's Bryson Gates. Gates still on his feet and out to the 39-yard line. So good starting field position for Fairfield. And the margin now is 5 points with 11:48 to go.
You got a flag on the field.
If that's against Fairfield, it would nullify.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something looks like
towel,
a flag. I guess
a
so.
Fairfield towel, perhaps, a bright yellow towel.
It is.
So from the 39, Fairfield's Eagles go back to work on offense against the Argyle Eagle defense. Jacob Gallegos in the shotgun to take the snap. Larry Rose is the running back. It is Rose, but this time Argyle's defense ready. Taylor Sweat, the sophomore linebacker, stops him for no gain.
Great play by Taylor, just scraped outside again. You know, Rose either by design or by himself had to bounce that out. They really got to keep him in there tight inside those B gaps. That's where his money's been made today.
Second down and 10. And Gallegos across the middle. There's going to be pass interference this time, as Cameron Hicks was hit hard by Reese Thompson. Arrived before the football did.
He did. Good call. Very good call. It was close. Bang, bang play, but Thompson did get there a little quick, and they're going to get a first down out of that.
Pass interference defense, number 4. The penalty being spotted at the point of infraction, automatic first down.
So in other words, the spot foul takes it to the 46. There's another look. That's why it's the penalty. It is a spot foul, so they'll just move the ball to the 46-yard line, but reset the chains. You see Fairfield with that large edge and total yardage, but Argyle's had big plays on defense and special teams. Right. And here's Rose.
Look out.
Rose.
Look out.
Taken off. And Larry Rose will put Fairfield back in front. 54 yards for the senior running back.
Well, how explosive. And again, you know, he got the ball in the A gaps, and with his eyes made one cut. Man, that's where he is so strong and so powerful. Once he made that cut and got out where he needed to go, he's got the speed. Wow, explosive.
Now, Fairfield is coming out to kick the extra point. That would give them a 2-point lead. I know quite often the conventional wisdom is once you get to the fourth quarter in a situation like that, go for 2. But Fairfield will go ahead and kick for 1. They have a 2-point advantage.
Right. You know, you look at that in different ways. I'm sure Coach Bachtel was looking. Let's just get the point and get off that 1-point margin. You know, hopefully that won't come back to haunt him again. But anytime you get a safety in the mix, it makes those extra point conversions look differently. So they're again right up the A gap, makes one cut, makes one guy miss, and boy, he's in his wheelhouse there. And I don't know, he's got about 180 yards tonight, and I would say about 160 of them came on that one play where they're giving him all the eyes he can get up in the A gap.
You did a good job just kind of guessing that off the top of your head. He actually has 190 on 23 carries.
There you go. I got a feeling he's not through either. What a player.
Larry Rose, the senior running back.
And you know, you take on your head coach's mentality. You know, Coach Bachtel is an offensive line guy. I mean, he coaches offensive line. You don't see a lot of head coaches doing that anymore. Played offensive line in college. So, I mean, he's just a hard-nosed giving that. That's why I love to see him just keep pounding that ball inside, because that's what he loves to play. And he's got the people to do it with that big offensive line right now. So he's staying with his philosophy and his thought process, which has got him back in this game.
Down 14 in the first half. Down 7. Late third quarter. Fairfield fights back, and now here early in the fourth quarter has reclaimed the lead. And the kickoff now for the Eagles from Eric Rodriguez-Hayes. This one will be fielded at the 13-yard line by Hunter Treadwell. And look at the coverage downfield right at the 20. Fairfield's kick coverage drops Treadwell, and so Argyle starts 80 yards away.
Kind of flip the script there. We've been talking about Argyle's great field position on kickoffs, and this time they kind of flipped it on us.
So it's at the 20.
Now it's Argyle's turn to see if they can find some momentum.
Sadler is a guy who can provide it to you. He will line up as a wide receiver, will Ian Sadler. You see him there, and Ian right there at the bottom of your screen.
They're going to throw to him.
Looking for Sadler over the middle with the catch. And the first down at the 36-yard line, a gain of 16 yards. Jacob Gallegos, the quarterback on offense, playing corner on defense, wrapped him up.
Yeah, all bets are off now. The best athletes are going to be on the field. It's the fourth quarter, the last game. The state title is on the line. You're going to have your best people in the game.
Playing as many snaps as they can.
Exactly right.
From the 36. To the ground. Trouble. And Ralston met in the backfield. He'll lose yardage.
Swarming. There's Alex Ward again.
And Devin Eggins. It's at the 35-yard line, a loss of a yard.
Fairfield is really coming at the point of attack. Ralston has to bounce it, and there's 3 guys waiting on him.
Second down and 11. Cucciarello, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Up top is Ian Sadler. And Brandon Boysick, the quarterback, checking with the sideline. Under 10 on the play clock. Still trying to get the play relayed in. Argyle will have to hurry, and in fact, they'll have to use a timeout.
Timeout. Argyle. Their first charge timeout of the second half.
So with 9:42 to go, Argyle down 2 in the state championship. By your Texas Ford dealers. Enjoy year-end savings during the Dream Big Sales event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Wrangler Premium Performance Advanced Comfort Jeans, available at Cavenders and Cavenders.com. Argyle took a timeout. Eagles now face 2nd and 11 from their own 35. Boysick. A little wraparound draw to Ralston. He breaks through, hurdles a tackler. Nick Ralston being run down from behind. Jeremiah Simpson prevented what would have been a 65-yard touchdown run. As it stands, it'll go for 37 and a first down.
Great effort. Great effort. We talked about Jeremiah a while ago. You look at his helmet, he doesn't have any paint on it left, and he runs this down. Great run by Ralston. Does a great job, but he does save a touchdown here and fights through a block. So what effort.
Brad, we are now at the point in the ballgame where we can say Argyle is in field goal range.
That's true. That's
true. Cole Headley. On first down, Ralston again on the carry. Of course, Argyle thinking about more than just getting a field goal, but a field goal would give them the lead here. That's a 5-yard carry for Nick Ralston. Edric Garner back out on the field after leaving earlier injured. Makes the tackle. So it's 2nd down and 5. What a ball game this has been. We've had some outstanding state championship moments already this weekend, but this by far has been the best game of the group.
Oh yeah, back and forth. See what both teams have left here. It's been an emotional second half.
Ralston this time hit and dropped. Picked up a yard, but Bryson Gates made the tackle, and it's 3rd down.
Great job by the big man. He fought off that pulling guard, and man, he wouldn't. You don't see Ralston get tackled by one guy like that around his legs. He's so strong, but. Bryson looks a little gassed. We'll see who's got the most in their tank here coming down this last 8.5 minutes.
3rd down and 6 for Argyle. Boysick from the shotgun, 3 receivers up top. That's where he's looking. Throwing downfield. And that is incomplete, but pass interference is going to be called here.
Oh.
Larry Rose was on the defense. But the flags come down, and there were 2 flags thrown. Chance Carroll and Larry Rose were both back there.
I'm not sure.
Pass interference defense, number 9. A 15-yard penalty from the original line of scrimmage. Automatic first down.
Called on Chance Carroll. Here's another look.
You got to see, does the first man touch the ball before there's interference? I mean, there's a tapped ball. That's just hard. That's really tough right there. Yep.
I think it's a good call.
Probably is.
Carroll goes into him. Of course, there's no face guarding penalty, but there's contact before the ball was touched.
It's a little underthrown. We're able to get a hand on it, but that's just a tough situation to get into.
And it's a bang-bang call. It's very difficult, obviously, for Fairfield. But now here is Argyle with 1st and goal from the 8. Outside, inside, Ralston down to the 5. A gain of 3. Tackle made by Dedrick Gardner. We tick down to 8 minutes to play in this ball game. Argyle led 17-3. Fairfield 21 unanswered, led 24-17 in the half. Argyle led 31-24 at the end of the 3rd, but Fairfield coming back with a safety and then a touchdown, and they're in front 33-31. Fairfield choosing not to go for 2 after that last touchdown. They kicked, and so it's just a 2-point ball game. Now Argyle's going to have to hurry or use a timeout. Racing to the line here. Play clock under 5. And they'll snap it, and here is Sadler, and he's knocked down. Argyle had trouble getting what they wanted, the personnel on the field, and it winds up costing them. Now it's 4th down, and here's Devin Eggins made the tackle. Big decision right now for Todd Rogers.
It really is. You know, he knows he probably's got the 3 in his pocket, but I think he really wants to score here. So they're leaving Sadler in at the quarterback position. They brought in defensive tackle Micah Capra to the offensive tackle. They're going to overload that right side, and I'm going to be surprised if he didn't go right there.
There it is. Sadler to the goal line, touchdown.
There he is again.
So on 3rd and goal, Sadler takes it across. And Argyle right back in front. The touchdown takes it across. Now, it's a 4-point game, and they'll look to make it a 5-point margin. Just look at Ian Sadler take it across.
Yeah, they overload the other side, and he cut back to the left and had a great lead blocker with Ralston.
So for the extra point is Cole Hedlund.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Make it a 5-point game. 38-33. 6 minutes. 54 seconds to go. Another look at the touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, great concept here. You know, you've got Ralston there hitting out. We're gonna take a step. He's gonna bring back. They're gonna block down. He's just gonna take a step and get to the end zone. Got the motion going away. Really good concept. You got Ralston leading the way.
There it is in for the Ian Sadler touchdown. Another touchdown for Sadler. His 4th of this contest. And it's now a 38-33 lead for Argyle. Maybe some cramping issues there.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things.
Sadler with the 3-yard run, 80 yards in 9 plays.
I'll tell you what, it's such a privilege to watch 2 guys like Larry Rose and Ian Sadler in the ballgame like this. They're great teams. You don't want to take anything away from their teams, their coaches, their concepts, but when you've got just a really racehorse on either team, it's just so much fun to watch them compete. And Sadler's having some cramps, and you're just giving every ounce that they have. It's that's what this high school competition and getting to this level is all about. It's just fun to see these kids go.
So Hedlund, and this is a time where Todd Rogers really needs Cole Hedlund to do what he does best and kick the ball into and perhaps even out of the end zone. He'll do that. Touchback, or will it? Whoa, thinking about it, Bryson Gates. And it will come out to the 25-yard line. Plenty of time, obviously, for Fairfield. 6:54 to go. They can run their offense, which means running the ball the way they've done tonight. So there is time here, but they are going to need a touchdown.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're worried about time, right? In fact, they'd love to take, 6.5 minutes off this thing and score. That's what they want. They don't want to do it too fast. But I think they're in pretty good shape, actually.
from the 25. Some movement in the line. Set up the receiver screen, and Minzy right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play as Colton Hendricks comes over to make the tackle.
Boy, dangerous call. Dangerous call on that tunnel screen with so many guys close to the line of scrimmage from Argyle. That is just a tough play call to get. If you win it, if you break it, it's a big payoff. But boy, there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
On second down. Second and 10, and Gallegos. Handoff, Rose, only 3 yards to the 28. Again, Hendricks coming over. Boy, he's made some tackles tonight.
He has. He really has. Boy, there's some people that are flying to the football, and I think that's the right medicine right there. Rose has got to get it in there and go. It brings up a tough 3rd and 7 or 8 for them. They're probably going to have to go to the air. You might look for a little screen or Rose out of the backfield again.
3rd and a long 7. The ball just across the Fairfield 27. Gallegos quickly over the middle. It's incomplete. Fairfield side wanting a pass interference as Lyde was defended by Dalton Ledford, and now it's 4th down.
Same play that Lyde scored on a while ago. Didn't get a hand in last time. Did get a hand that time. It's really tight. There's a little contact. He's got that right arm down on the ball.
It's that left arm from behind is what what Fairfield's complaint is.
Right, and I don't blame him. It's really a good play, probably a good no call, but that's pretty tight.
Bechtel saying don't worry about it. They need a stop. They're going to need. And before they get going, their timeout was called by Fairfield.
Snap. Timeout. Fairfield. Their first timeout in the second half.
And it could be that John Bechtel was thinking about possibly going for it on 4th and 8 from his own 27, because you have Sadler there. Argyle would almost certainly get great field position. Even if you get a stop, the way Sadler can punt the ball, you may be way down at the end of the field and very little time left to work with.
Right. Yeah, you know, it'd be risky. You know, you're at your 26. That's with 5.5 minutes left. You got some timeouts. I think you'll probably opt to go ahead and punt this ball. Again, don't punt it to Ian. I'm going to punt that ball out of bounds somewhere and then play some defense.
Great second game of the 3 we bring you this afternoon and tonight here on Fox Sports Southwest. Carthage won the 3A Division I crown earlier over Kilgore, 34-23. 4th state title in a 6-year run for the kids from Panola County. And then coming up tonight, right around 8 o'clock, a 4A Division I title matchup. The defending state champions of 4A D1, Denton Geyer, against Northside Brennan of the San Antonio area. Just right around the 8 o'clock hour, still to come to wrap up day 2 of championship weekend. Fairfield is going to go ahead and punt. Kick by Gallegos, very high and not deep at all. And it'll be down at the 49-yard line. It's only a 24-yard punt. So really the season boils down to Fairfield having to make a stand here because it's been so tough trying to defend the likes of Ian Sadler.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you just look at what Ian's done today on the ground. First touchdown, started the day off right. Saw something and truly believed that this was this is not a call, but he goes 64 yards here on a fake punt on his own. Almost scores, get down close to the end zone. He catches a punt over his head on a punt return, makes a couple of misses, and then goes 60 untouched into the end zone. Huge difference in the kicking game alone on what he's done. Last touchdown, just a little counter, followed his teammate into the end zone. So he's been all over the field all day long, and stats are great, but what he's adding to it is unbelievable. 108 yards rushing, 73 passing, 3 touchdowns.
He has also punted twice, averaging 49 yards per kick. So he has been everywhere. And while you would expect them to look for him, they were also looking for Nick Ralston, were the Fairfield Eagles. That's going to be a loss of 4 yards as Ralston is driven back by Garner and Gallegos.
Yeah, you know, Fairfield's got to play right now. We're getting into that area where they can't afford, like you said, with an All-American kicker, 3 more points is going to hurt you right here. Then it's become a 2-possession game.
Well, and they can ill afford even to give up a first down, A, because of clock issues, B, because of field position.
Exactly. It's a great start. Loss of 4.
Second down and 14. Sadler there at the bottom of your picture. And this time it's back to the ground, but Fairfield ready for it. Maybe a yard gain, but nothing more than that for Ralston. Devin Eggins on the tackle. Now, Todd Rogers has what he wants in terms of running the clock, but he does face a 3rd down and 13 coming up.
Exactly. He's going to have to put the ball in the air now, you would think, and risk stopping that clock on an incompletion. I don't think he's worried with the clock. Now, he really wants the 1st down. He can seal it with that. So I think you're going to look for Boyzik and Mr. Ian Sadler at this point. Where's he going to be?
Trotting out there.
He's going to be in the slot position right behind.
3rd down, there's the pump fake, but a double move downfield and incomplete, just off the hands of Pucciarello. He had a chance. The ball just a little bit out in front of him.
Great concept. You know, they pushed him forward and backward, and then ran Pucciarello on down the line. The defense really had to come up because they thought they were going to throw a short pass to Ian. Great concept there, just a little bit out of his reach.
And could have put it away had he been able to haul that one in. Sadler, as we mentioned, punting for the 3rd time. He's averaged 49 yards on his 2 kicks.
You better watch him.
And of course he's had the fake, but he'll rugby it this time. Very, very high, and a fair catch to be made inside the 15-yard line by Chance Carroll. That's 41 yards on that punt.
And that's such a weapon with no return. Get the ball back down inside the 15 now. You know, with 3:47 left, leaves Fairfield with understanding we got to go about 87 yards here to make it work.
It was perhaps only fitting that it comes down to a final drive late to decide this game one way or the other. So it'll be from the 13-yard line. Fairfield does have 2 timeouts remaining, but they're going to have to negotiate 87 yards.
And I'm sure Coach Bachtel's telling his offensive coordinator, don't get too cute. You know, we threw it 2 of the last 3 and out. Let's get the ball back in the hands of our runners.
Rose going in motion. It's a handoff coming the opposite way.
He's going to.
And that's Bryson Gates, who was a missed tackle away from breaking it big, but Connor Wilson held on. It's a 6-yard carry.
Great carry, and he almost breaks it. You know, Bryson just gets out those big, strong legs, turning faster than you think. And man, he's a one tackle away. Connor did a great job coming up and saved a huge play, but that's what they got to have.
2nd down and 4. This time it's Rose. Up the middle, and he breaks outside. Oh my goodness. Here goes Larry Rose. 1 man left with a chance to get him. Reese Thompson running him down. They still didn't have him completely wrapped up, but finally Connor Wilson slings him out of bounds at the 17-yard line. What a run by Larry Rose of 57 yards.
Again, just staying with the plan. Staying with the plan. Give Larry the ball. And let him let his eyes make 1 cut, and there he goes. He's a workhorse, and that may be really fortunate that he didn't score and give Argyle the ball back with 3 minutes left. You know, if they can milk some more of this clock and get in the end zone and not give much time, obviously that's going to be a better scenario. But they got to score first.
256 yards.
Wow.
For Larry Rose. 3:04 to go. Still timing on 1st down. Bryson Gates this time is met by Micah Capra. Gates, negligible carry there. You see Rose.
They're going to want Rose to get his breath back pretty quick and get back in this ball game, I can assure you.
2nd down. You see the training staff attention saying, whenever you're ready. Anytime, Mr. Rose.
Yeah. We won't tell you. We're telling you you're ready.
2nd down and 9. Gates again. Moves inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, but this will bring up 3rd down and 7 coming up. Capra and Wilson on the tackle, and the clock continues to move here. Each team with 2 timeouts left. And Rose taking his time walking out there, but he is returning to the huddle.
He's coming back. Time is really of no issue right now to Fairfield. In fact, they would like it to keep running. They feel like 15 yards is what they can do.
And John Bachtel may take a timeout because Rose still is, I think, tired, and that's what's going to be the call here.
You're exactly right.
They want to give Larry Rose as much time as possible to get his breath. Ball was snapped, but the time had already been called.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm
Timeout.
sure.
Fairfield. Their second charge for the second half.
Here's the run of 64 yards by Larry Rose.
You just see great vision. He goes to the left side of the field, and he's all the way back, running away. Makes a move to get away, and just gets caught. Of course, he's tired. He's run for 256 yards. So, just great thought, great eyes. The thing he has is just vision to see where he needs to be.
Well, I think that you have to wait pending the outcome of this drive, and maybe if there's time, a drive for Argyle before we announce our forward player of the game, because I think we know that if it's Fairfield, it's Larry Rose. If it's Argyle, it's Ian Sadler.
Exactly. What a couple of great competitors. We've been honored to watch these guys play today.
Third down and 7 from the 14. Rose is out there, along with Alex Ward. Jacob Gallegos will hand it to Rose. It's going to be stopped short of the first down at the 11. And it's 4th down and 3 coming up. Hunter Treadwell will tackle.
Well, it comes down to this, and the last 4th down that they went for, I don't think Coach Bachtel probably wants to get back into that scenario. I can't imagine him not keeping the ball in Rose's hand here somehow.
4th and 4. Fairfield must convert the first down to keep the drive alive, even if they don't score. To Rose, and he's stopped. Larry Rose is stopped, and Argyle holds inside the 10-yard line. David Bearden right there, along with Nick Ralston on the tackle.
Great surge, but the linebackers just stepped up. They get Rose back in it, got a little push, just came off at 55. I'm telling you, he's a player. Micah Capper's been a player all night. He slipped that block of that guard and fell into the hole, and it was there if he hadn't fallen in it. That's a great play by Capper.
Argyle, a minute 14 away from winning the state title, and Fairfield can only stop it once. What an incredible ball game, and a great effort by Larry Rose there. It looks as though it will come up short. I'm sure Todd Rogers telling his team, let's not be fancy. There's nothing you need to do. Just go ahead. You can go victory formation 2 or 3 times, and that ought to do it. In fact, he's going to take a timeout to talk about this.
Timeout. Argyle. Their second charge timeout of the second half.
Well, there were so many big moments in this game, but perhaps the momentum changer, our DQ big play of the game, is the fake punt and run by Ian Sadler. It went 42 yards, and Sadler then scored on the next play to tie it. Then, after getting a 3 and out, Sadler 64 yards on the punt return.
Yeah, just an unbelievable effort, and a lot of that's not. The punt return set up well, and great wall, great block. The fake punt with vision of his own and the freedom from a coach that trusts him to make a play when he's got to play, and it really opened up the game. We can see why that's the DQ big play of the game, those 2 in that series, because it did change the whole scheme.
And even after that, Fairfield came back and reclaimed the lead at 33-31, but it took one more drive for Argyle.
It did, and give it hats off to Argyle's defense there. They ran Larry down. They didn't have to. They could have kind of shut that down, let him score, but they ran him down and then held on 4th down. So hats off to a great defensive stand there by Argyle.
First down from the 9-yard line, and it'll be a matter of just putting down the knee, and Sadler will be the one to field the snap, although he's going to run it outside and then slide down. That's to run as much clock as possible and force Fairfield to call its final timeout with 1:07 to go in the ball game. But
timeout. Fairfield, their 3rd and final timeout of the ball game.
This will, however, only take 2 more snaps for Argyle. And the call may be, again, to run a little bit of time, run a little bit, and then put down the knee. And, well, as we mentioned, it'd probably come down to who ultimately came out on top. And Looks like Ian Sadler will do that. He's our fourth outstanding player of the game. And he did it in so many different ways tonight.
He did, and, you know, over 280 yards of offense there, of our total yards, 4 touchdowns, and we said from the beginning we called him Mr. Versatile. And he can just do everything for your football team wherever he lines up, and they look good doing it. So, and at pivotal times, and so there's the outstanding player of the game, and congratulations to Ian Stadler.
And Argyle on the verge of the school's first state football championship. We knew we'd have a first-time winner because both schools came in seeking their first.
And you know, you look back at Argyle was here last year, and you can kind of give that tilt. They stuck in there longer. I think just the experience of being here has really helped them tonight at different times, especially at the beginning of the first and beginning of the second half.
Sadler carries it now, and then they run time here. Now let's see when they start the play clock. It is now set, but they can run it down to about 50 seconds. So one more snap should do it if they run the play clock
right
pretty far down. Argyle lost in the 2A state championship in Division I to Newton back in 2005, and then 2 years ago in 2011 a heartbreaking loss in the 3A Division II title round to Wimberley, 21-14. And that's going to be it. The state championship will go up Highway 377 from Tarrant County into Denton County to the Argyle Eagles, the 3A Division II state football champions of Texas.
Lots of happy fans here on this side of the stadium. I know Fairfield played a tremendous game, and hats off to those guys and Coach Bachtel. Their fans are in a kind of a state of shock after that run and then a stop on 4th down. But 2 wonderful football teams that really competed great tonight, and happy for Argyle, and it's great to see Fairfield and as Coach Bachtel said, let's just keep it simple and let's just try to do our best. And I love his philosophy.
A great football game tonight, worthy of being a state championship contest. The way the momentum shifts went back and forth, each side coming up with big plays from big-time players. And Todd Rogers with a hug for Colton Henricks and the rest of his guys.
Lots of emotion, you know, lots of emotion from both coaches. It's that thrill of victory and that agony of defeat. It goes back a long time, but those kids from Fairfield have had a great year, and they've done a super job.
Only the one loss, and it came in the final quarter of the final game of the season. A show of sportsmanship on both sides before they'll eventually get around to the presentation of the medals and the state championship trophy, and the offensive and defensive MVPs. For Ian Sadler, what a great way to cap an incredible high school football career.
Isn't that the truth? What a great game. You want to save your best for last. And you know that Cliff Kingsbury is sitting up there in Lubbock, Texas, kind of licking his chops right now. Being able to get a kid like that to get to Lubbock, he'll be versatile there too, and really have positive effects on that team.
Chance for the Eagles to come and celebrate on the side of the stadium with their fans. Looking around the stadium here, there are some Denton Geyer fans I see decked out cheering it as well. Seeing one school from Denton County claiming a title, maybe it's a sign of good things for them, they may be thinking.
Yeah, they like that. You know, that's good to see that kind of sportsmanship and cheering for those folks that are close to you. It's kind of hard that last game because they were opposing teams. They were only 45 miles apart, so it was hard to kind of get that spirit.
Well, Argyle will add its name to the list of the state champions from Denton County. Louisville Fighting Farmers, Flowerbound Marcus Marauders, Pilot Point Bearcats, all winning state titles from Denton County. And now Argyle gets its opportunity. A relatively new program, and Todd Rogers has done a fantastic job since he's been here.
He has. It's just been a growing. You know, he started Class A and have really grown, and their kids have grown, like I say, it's just a great football area. I guess Denton itself has had 2, Denton Ryan and Denton Geyer.
Yep. And I was listing the state champions, the other ones, lest we forget, as you mentioned, Joey Florence's Denton Ryan Raiders, and of course John Walsh's Denton Geyer Wildcats are actually jogging onto the field to go through their warm-ups before they look to defend their 4A Division I title coming up here around 8 o'clock tonight.
Exactly, and it's you know, you want to get out here as fast as you can. You want these guys to celebrate their state championship, but as a coach, as John is looking, going to clear it off because we need some warm-up. So it's a unique arena when you got the next guys, the next kids out here during the trophy presentation.
Well, the medals to be draped on both sides. The runner-up medal for Fairfield, and of course the state championship, the gold medal for the Argyle Eagles. And then after that, there'll be the offensive, defensive MVPs and the state championship trophy, and it's a special moment, isn't it?
It really is, and those are just special times, and for the coaches and for the community. It's you know, we know that Ian is going to take that offensive MVP. It's going to be interesting to see you know, who comes out defensively. There had so many standouts. Connor Wilson did a good job, but I still go back to Micah Capra and what he did in some of the game savers that he had. It would be hard to pick a defensive guy from those rounds. And you know, how do you not give Larry Rose something for the performance that he had tonight on the losing end? But what an incredible performance from a running back that carried his team.
They're just moments away from the offensive and defensive MVPs presented. And let's pick up the announcement. Colton Hendricks won the defensive MVP. We talked about all the tackles he made.
Yeah, good choice. There was 3 or 4 that you could have gone with there.
Busy night for him with 15 tackles.
And the offensive player of the game, the Conference 3A Division II Championship as selected by our media at today's event. From Argyle, number 5, Ian Sadler. Congratulations, Ian, on an outstanding game.
I don't think there was much doubt or mystery about that.
No, there really wasn't. Ian's wondering where Jerry Jones is.
Yeah. The owner of the Cowboys was here earlier in the 3A Division I game and was presenting those awards. Dr. Charles Breidup, Executive Director of the UIL there.
Now to the runner-up trophy. Living the season with a 15-1 record. The Eagles of Fairfield High School have represented their school with pride. Coach John Bechtel will now accept the state finalist trophy from Interim Superintendent Sheila Dove, Principal Vaughn Wade, and Assistant Principal Keith Whitaker of Fairfield ISD, and Will Hallmark of State Farm. Congratulations to the Eagles of Fairfield High School for an outstanding season.
Fairfield receiving their state finalist trophy. Even though it ends in disappointment for the Eagles, an absolutely fabulous season. And
at this time, we recognize the 3A Division II football state champions, the Argyle Eagles. With a record of 16-0, Todd Rogers and his team have achieved the goal of becoming Texas High School state champion. Coach Rogers, please step forward and accept your championship trophy from Superintendent Dr. Wright, Principal Jeff Butts, Argyle ISD, and Cassandra Preston of State Farm. Congratulations, and let's hear it for Argyle High School.
So there they are, the state champions of Class 3A Division II.
We congratulate these communities, parents, school officials, and players for their outstanding accomplishments. The UIL would like to thank you for being part of this momentous day in Texas high school football history. Your contribution to today's excitement is greatly appreciated.
The first state championship for the Argyle Eagles, and it was in dramatic fashion tonight, holding on to beat the Fairfield Eagles 38-33 to claim the school's first ever state high school championship. And the trophies being presented, the UIL trophy, and that's the one presented from AT&T Stadium. So 2 championship trophies going back to the trophy case in Argyle.
Very deserving. Just fought hard, played from start to finish. Got down when Fairfield came back, but just rallied around some of their players and took the lead again, and then just like you say, held on, 4th down, big goal line stand at the end of the ball game to win it. So they're well deserving and a great group, and obviously Coach Rogers is a class guy and his staff, and they're well deserving of an award.
Todd Rogers can take the time to talk to his football team now, gathering them, and wants everybody backing off so he can visit with his team on the field the way he's done all season long. They're going to actually pose with the championship trophies. The picture of victory.
Those are great pictures. I have a collection, and just the sheer joy on kids' face for years. That's just one that sticks with you for a long, long time. So congratulations to those guys.
You see all the guys, and what a big performance tonight from Micah Capra. You see he had the state championship trophy at his feet.
Yeah, if I was going to pick somebody out there to guard it, I think that's who I'd pick.
It's a good choice. Very good choice. Lots of hugs and congratulations all the way around. Let's go down to the field to Neil Beasley.
All right, thank you with the man of the hour, Ian Sadler. Ian, wow. I mean, that's really all you can say about this game. Wow. Tell me about the game and you personally.
I mean, it was a back-and-forth game. We played a great opponent. We had some ups and downs throughout the game, but at the end of it, we did what we needed to do, and we got our first state championship, and I couldn't be happier.
Tell me, you seemed like you could run, pass, kick, return kicks, punt. I'm pretty sure you were taping ankles before and directed the band at halftime. Is that right?
No. I'm very blessed with what I can do, and I mean, I have a great team behind my back, and it's just a blessing to be out here and with them.
One of the big plays, obviously, was the fake punt. Is that something that you call, or just if you see it, go?
I have a freewheeling zone, or I guess I had a freewheeling zone from the 40 to 40, and if I'm inside that, then Coach Rogers just says that I can run if I want to and punt it if I want to. So
obviously that was a big play, and you decided to run it. When did you know that it was open?
Our tight end, JC, just said check the run, and he kind of hooked his guy, so there was no one there.
Now, obviously, they came back on you, too. Fairfield had a great team. Your defense seemed like it made big stops at big times, too.
Defense wins championships, and that's what happened today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Guys, back up to you.
All right, defense may win championships. Players like Ian Sadler put teams in position to win titles.
Absolutely.
Final score tonight, the Argyle Eagles 38, the Fairfield Eagles 33. Coming up next, our nonstop UIL championship coverage continues on 4 Championship Live. Then it's Denton Geyer and Northside Brennan for the 4A Division I crown. For Brad McCoy and Neil Beasley, I'm Craig Way. Thanks for joining us. Argyle, your state champions of 3A Division II.